I've won big races before. League openers, inaugural events, a fixed Indy 500, but I'm still trying to win the Votive Indy Derby.
Oh, Clindy's going to send it to the inside, and he goes from 2 positions deep at the restart to 3rd spot.
But what is coming back, and Eric Peterson is coming too, and also Jasper is coming
Orman
over there.
Future of virtual motorsports is now. This September, the heart of sim racing beats in Chicagoland as the Sim Gaming Expo takes over the Schaumburg Convention Center, September 5th through the 7th. Go wheel to wheel in our competition area, test the latest gear, meet top brands, creators, and celebrate with fellow sim racing enthusiasts. Whether you're a seasoned sim racer or new to the sport, this is your chance to be part of history. To purchase tickets and see the full exhibitor lineup, visit simgamingexpo.com.
Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to this special presentation here on P1 Broadcasting. I am Gary Gonzo, and welcome to P1's presentation and coverage of the P1 600 from Michigan International Speedway, presented by Topia Systems. Currently, we are under open qualifying conditions right now, with about 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to play before we decide this field. Joining me in the booth is our master of ceremonies, and everyone's going to be trying to rob him of his money, as this person he has put up for this race is in excess of well over $500. Actually, just $1 over $500, but it's still well over $500 in my mind. It is Mark Murphy. Mark, good to have you here, the master of ceremonies. Open qualifying. It is a madhouse out there, but welcome everybody to the broadcast, and more importantly, welcome you to the broadcast.
You know what, Gary? It's great to be here. This race came about in my mind about 4 or 5 months ago. I was talking to some guys, and it was being lamented that there was really a lack of special events within the IndyCar community. And those special events that do exist, well, they all go to Indianapolis. Every league has its own Indianapolis 500. There are special event Indianapolis 500s, but nobody really goes to Michigan. And one of the places that, or one of the events that I have a special place in my heart for was the former Race Spot 500. I was a former winner of that event, and I thought, why not bring a special event race to Michigan, and why not make it a little bit special? And why not get some money put together for these guys to go race? And what a better way to celebrate P1's birthday. Our network is 1 year old in about 10 days. What a better way to celebrate that than to have a knockdown, drag out, all out race for the money at one of probably the best tracks to host an IndyCar race. And we're going to do things a little bit differently today. As you can see on your screen, fans, it is open qualifying. Yes, that is intentional. And the reason that we're doing that is why not? I want this race to be different. The distance, Gary had suggested 600 miles. I thought that might be a little bit long for us to talk, so we did 600 kilometers. The date was agreed upon because, well, there's no big IndyCar races this week. There's no real life race. There's no big race in the sim. And so we brought the community here. This race was free to all of the drivers to enter. I wanted to see everybody come out and have an awesome time, get to do something a little bit different, enjoy the competition. There are 34 cars entered into this field.
That's pretty impressive.
Incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And the genesis of the 600 is that goes back. First of all, I wanted to do something different. I just don't want another race to be called something 500 and it gets lost into the ether of the communities at large at iRacing. And back during IndyCar Racing 1 and 2, you could actually get into the config files and change the race distances if you wanted to. And I remember I always thought, why is stock car the only one with a 600-mile race? Why can't IndyCar do that? I mean, back at the time, that would have been really a true test of man and machine in IndyCar because, you're still looking at races where in Indy 500s, for instance, 12 or fewer would finish the race, and that was quite common. So, can those cars go another 100 miles? So I would do Indy 600s or Michigan 600s, 300 laps here in Michigan, and they were always fun in the game. But it was a pretty good amount of time that you would spend racing them and everything just for fun. And Mark's like, let's not get a little crazy here. But I'm like, still 600 still is a good number. And so we decided to make it a little bit better lengthwise for everybody, 600 kilometers, which is still 370 miles. So it's still not a short race. It's not like an open series race. It's not like a fixed series race, which is effectively their sprints. We're getting in here and we are doing a little bit of strategy and a little bit of a marathon as well. So that's where the genesis of the 600 came. Maybe one of these days we will do a 600 miler, but right now it is 600 kilometers, and we're getting ready to do today's starting lineup from Michigan. Hold on just a second, and we will get the screens changed over here. The starting grid will load for me. And I'm wondering if it's because of the open qualifying. That might be interesting. All right, so we're not going to have a starting grid here.
We may not, Gary, but we can still read it out.
Yes, we could still read it out. And right now, we will come back into away from the B-roll.
Yeah, it gave me a grid. And it's a jumbled one. This is good. We have some guys up front that we're not normally used to seeing up there. We've got some guys in the back that we're not necessarily used to seeing back there either. So how about that?
Try this one more time. There we go. You just got to tell the overlay who's boss. That's what you have to do. And let's get into this, Mark. Starting lineup. I will let you have the pleasure of reading it all.
How about this? On the pole, Matt Hollibaugh, Hamilton Boise is going to be his outside. Jacob Oster and Ty Keela, they're going to make up row 2. Kyle Clinworth, Blaze Andrich, row 3, new addition to the Road Racing squad, Blaze Andrich. Keep an eye on him. Row 4, Andrew Marquez and Brendan Hyperstar, Brendan Lichtenberg. He's going to go from 8th. Antonio Estrada is 9th. Matt Taylor is going to be 10th, the veteran. Charles Teed is 11th. Matt Wagner, 12th. Vitor Guillermi, 13th. Ryan Scholz, he'll make up the outside of row 7. He'll go 14th. The old pro, Craig Forsyth, he'll be 15th. Mark Averett is 16th. Alexander Miller, Logan Edwards, Alan Bruteau, and Daniel the Cat, Daniel Durazo, they'll round out the top 20. Eric Peterson, he'll be on the inside of row 11 next to Edson Santos. Chris Stoker and Rashad Craig make up row 12. Jared Wakefield, Treston Fortson, they're going to be on row 13. Scott Ross, Olivier Samunu, row 14. Matthias Strauss and Lilac Zier, they're going to go from row 15. Seb Alexander, Jesper Orman, the Swedes, they'll make up the 16th row. And on the 17th row, Rusty Plant and Shane Kocher. This is going to be a ton of fun. This is going to be a ton of fun, Gary. I've been waiting for this for a long time. We've been planning this for what? 3-4 months, and it's finally here. I can't believe it. I don't want to say like an expectant father about ready to see his baby, but that's kind of what it's like. I'm so happy that we have such a great turnout. It's awesome that we have such great drivers in this field. Congratulations to Matt Hollibaugh for winning the Blackmagic Studios Pole Award. I'll let you call him the green, Gary.
And here we come. Pace car off the racetrack. Field is under the control of Hollibaugh. He wastes no time. Green flag, and we are racing. The dream is real, as Paul Page said at Walt Disney World. And here we go in the one.
Matt Hollibaugh does get the drop. Hamilton Akabuezi, he's going to go into second. Jacob Oster, he has the I-5G machine right behind the Fiercely Ford car. And we've got caution on the speedway. Caution is on the speedway. Matthias Strauss hard into the turn one wall. Rusty Plant also involved. Strauss and Plant, they're going to be early pedestrians here in the 600.
Oh, that is a shame. Let's see what happened back there.
It's all going to start going through at turn number one. Matthias Strauss just breaks loose going through turn number one. Seb Alexander does an amazing job of avoidance, as does the TWR car there, the TMR car. Rusty Plant, though, nowhere to go. Hard into Matthias Strauss, and that is going to bring out the first caution. Unlike the US 500, though, we actually took the green flag, so... we're in good shape there. Hollibaugh leads it from Akabuezi, Oster, Tykila, and Blaze Andrich, your top five. Interesting to see kind of, Gary, the team makeup in this one. We have, by my count, no fewer than 10 teams here. Chris Stouffer, Craig Forsyth, they represent the 4D Racewear team, run by our good friend Jim Herrick, of course. Matt Hollibaugh, the All-American iRacers leader. He's currently leading this event. Hamilton Akabuezi, the Oval Star from the Fiercely Ford with P1 Docs team. Charles Teed, Eric Peterson. Go ahead, Gary.
We're just watching the replay from Seb's point of view, and it is a very un-Strauss-like mistake, especially on the first lap, and he got loose even before getting into the corner, and he grabbed it again, caught it, and then lost it again. We will ride back with him on this lap, so you'll watch from his point of view, but a lot of traffic in front of him. Remember, this is open setup, so maybe he had his car set up to be very free and then tighten up as the run goes on, because we also have a seat that watch the car wanted to over rotate. There it goes, over rotates again. So he caught it once, but he didn't catch the second time. And poor Rusty Plant, one of the winners in the Votive Indy Oval Series, his day is done, and we only made it to turn one, much like Marco Andretti did in the Indy 500.
Well, this is a very, very, very hot racetrack, Gary. Right now, the air temperature 85 degrees, the track 128. The track was cleaned, by the way, before the race started. So we started with zero usage. It would be as if it rained after qualifying. The track was in perfect shape, but it is very hot. The time of day right now, it's 3:30 in the afternoon. So this track is very warm. It is going to get cooler, and as it gets cooler, these drivers are going to have a whale of a good time. It's also going to force them, as the track gets wear and as the temperature gets cooler, we may see some adjustments needed on these automobiles, because the fastest car now may not be the fastest car once we get to the end of 600 kilometers.
Camera on Ryan Schold, and of course he has the sponsorship of the PRI Hoosier 500. He came in on lap 3, and now the rest of the field looks like it's coming in once again, led by Rashad Craig. Everyone's coming to pit road. You do have limited tires here. You could throw on a new set. This is a money race, so why don't you just throw all the money into this thing? Who needs a tire bill? Smoke them if you got them, and he is going to put on a new set of tires and top the tank off. So strategy already in play from the mid-pack on back, as these guys are kind of hoping for a little bit longer run on this first stint. and maybe with the hopes of picking up some track position while everyone else comes to pit road. So that was led by Rashad Craig and Seb Alexander.
Yeah, and those guys, they're coming in here at 186 laps. I know it's way too early to start playing a fuel game, Gary. We're only 4 laps into a scheduled 186. But I tell you what.
It's IndyCar. It's IndyCar racing. We always play fuel games.
Yes, everybody plays fuel games. Everybody here, Eric Peterson and Edson Santos stopped the lap before. Seb Alexander, P22 on down, have all pitted under this yellow light. Matthias Strauss remains on pit lane. His car has been deemed repairable. Rusty Plant has the meatball. He must respect the meatball. He is no longer a part of this race. The pace car is off, though, Gary. Matt Hollybaugh, he's going to lead him back to the green flag. Barney has it. Let's roll. Take 2.
Everyone just needs to be patient and get through these first couple of opening laps. Allow these tires to come up to temperature. Allow these cars to come up to speed. Allow the aerodynamics to do their job at high speeds. When they're not at high speed, we're talking hundreds of pounds of downforce. Then we get into high speeds. Now we're talking thousands of pounds of downforce. And that's what we're still building up to as Akaboeasy shoots the gap, goes to the front, and he's going to be your new leader at the line. Oster second, Hollibaugh, our pole sitter, back to third, Tyquilla fourth, Blaze Andrich in fifth, Clindy in sixth, Lichtenberg in seventh, Marquez eighth, Taylor ninth, and Antonio Estrada with limited practice time. El Patron up to P10.
Absolutely. Looking a little bit further in the back, they aren't wasting any time going after each other. I'm watching a battle between Chris Stouffer, Alexander Miller, and Alan Bruchot back there. That's for 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th spot. They're racing around like it's just about the end of this thing. We talked about the guys who stopped. Seb Alexander and Rashad Craig, the 2 Indy Alliance teammates. I mentioned teams. There are more than 10 teams represented here. The IR teammates are not really attempting to go forward, Gary.
No, they obviously, and the associated teammates with that squad, there's a number of them back there in that second group, and they're just kind of hanging out at the moment while the racing is still pretty tight. They're figuring, I'm guessing as long as they're in the draft, or they feel like they're in the draft, they still got a shot here. And also, there's still a great deal of racing a little bit further on up. A lot of wheel-to-wheel action, and those can result into closing the packs up.
They most certainly can. Do want to point out that Jacob Oster and Hamilton Akaboeasy, although they are on different teams, I5G for Jacob Oster, the multi-time Indianapolis 500 champions, Hamilton Akaboeasy driving for Fiercely Forward with P1 Docs. Those guys are good friends, and it would not surprise me if they weren't in the same Discord and working together. Brendan Lichtenberg, another part of that fabled I5G squad, he runs along in 7th. If you wanted to check out his point of view, always want to promote the drivers, Gary, you can head over to Brendan Hyperstar on Twitch and watch the Hyperstar do his thing. He's running along in 7th place right now. One of the guys that I was looking forward to watching in this race, Jesper Orman, he's back in 26th. He's behind that Alexander Rashad Craig knot. The Swede just kind of riding along back there. It would not surprise me if Orman, Schuld, Craig, Alexander, those guys were just riding along and saving some fuel at this point.
And we got a new challenger to top 3, Blaze Andrich with the new livery of Rogue Racing. He is now in 3rd, and he has 2 of his 2 teammates right behind him there, just beyond Hollibaugh. That is Quilla and Clindy in 5th and 6th. Those are 2 of his teammates, so if they could join him, they've got a bit of a handicap match on Akaboeasy and Oster. And the only way that typically those guys can win handicap matches, of course, I'm a big wrestling fan, so you got to bring a steel chair. So we'll see if Oster and Akaboeasy, what surprises they have in store for when these other teams kind of get up there and start ganging up on them.
By Jove, it's Gary Gonzo with the steel chair. Hamilton Akaboeasy, he'll drop underneath Jacob Oster, put Hamilton Akaboeasy back to the lead. These front 4 have developed a little bit of a gap. Back to 5th place, Ty Keela. In 6th place, sixth place, Kyle Kunworth.
Caution,
is
racetrack.
out on the speedway.
Seb Alexander in the grass. Alexander Miller missing a front wing. Oh, what was that? Oh, my goodness.
Could be just didn't have any way to control the automobile. Going back here, watching the replay, they're coming through turns number 3 and 4, and it appears as though Alexander Miller just kind of drifts up a little bit in the dirty air, clips the number 79 Indy Alliance machine of Seb Alexander. Alexander, all over the top is Alexander Miller. He's going to go through the grass. Both of those cars pretty torn up right there, Gary. Seb might be able to keep going, maybe, because I don't think he hit anything mechanically. But then Alexander Miller, he's going to try to get going right as Alexander does, and that just might finish Seb off. He did not have a meatball before that, but he definitely has the meatball now. He must respect it. Seb Alexander is going to be out of this race, as is Alexander Miller. Caution is on the speedway. We are working at lap 13 of 186.
Let's go back a little bit here on this replay. I just want to set this up. And it really kind of starts, not necessarily the cause of the wreck, but this is Peterson, Eric Peterson, in the Dark Horse entry, and he is following, I'm not sure who is directly in front of him. Peterson gets the aero wash, gets up into the wall there a little bit. That might be Berteau in front of Peterson, yeah. Fortson gets a run, goes down low. Here's going to be another car on the outside. We're watching from Miller. And Miller just getting the dirty air coming off of Fortson's car, and that caused him to wash back up. But again, if you watch from Seb Alexander's point of view, Seb kind of had no place to go because of Alexander kind of, Peterson kind of checking up right here. See, he just no place to go, and he was just riding it out, and then he gets side-checked a little bit there by Alexander Miller. And that is what brings us under caution. So again, early stages of a very long race. It doesn't feel like it's a long race, but it is a long race. We're doing 370 miles here. And it looks like Seb did try to avoid that.
Yeah, just nowhere to go, really. And that's the thing. These open setup cars, some guys have their cars set up one way, some have it another. The quality of those setups do vary throughout the field. We mentioned there are more than 11 teams entered here. The Dark Horse guys, they're great drivers. They are not really known to be open setup mavens. Whereas, the Indy Alliance team, their partnership with Rogue Racing, i5G, All-American iRacers, of course, Fiercely Forward, P1 Docs, those teams, Taylor Mills Racing, those teams are known, along with MadWorks, for their open setup prowess. And then you've got guys like Ryan Schold, who they may not run open setup races a lot, but they are able to source them through different places, and we know the quality of those. Meanwhile, we do have a ton of drivers who have decided to make their way down pit lane. It appears to me, Gary, everybody but the top 6.
The top 6 have come to pit road, and then 2 cars actually after them are those that have pitted in that earlier caution. Jared Wakefield and Edson Santos. They came in on lap 3 and 4. They have grabbed some very valuable track position. But Blaze Andrich, who was challenging there in the top 3 right before the caution, he stopped on lap 14 and is now out in the 9th spot. And then we had a whole host of other drivers that have made the dip down on lap 15, started by Rashad Craig. So Rashad Craig, a lot of early pit stops here. Looks like that IAR entry teammate of yours is playing the fuel game. And also we look a little bit further on back, not surprised, but we see Brendan Lichtenberg, Hyperstar. We see Akabawizi. We see Oster also playing the fuel game here a little bit earlier. They decided to sacrifice a little track position to make a stop on pit road to top off those tanks.
They do, and the long game here is huge because eventually, and this is kind of the way that these races play out a lot of times, Gary, is you'll see a caution or two at the beginning, and then it's going to settle into a long run. Well, by making that stop there, they have basically cut one pit stop out. The drivers who remain on the speedway as we get the green flag, those drivers, Halliball, Ty Keela, Kyle Clinworth, Antonio Estrada, Matt Wagner, Christopher, they're banking on having another yellow in just a little while. But that's not going to stop everybody from absolutely fanning out. Already you've got Andrew Marquez. Matt Taylor, not Marquez. Marquez, he's going to drop under, Jared Wakefield. He's going to drop under Andrew Marquez. Couldn't figure out who was who there for a minute. Matt Taylor, he's looking. Yeah, we got a car in pit road. Matt Taylor looking toward the bottom on MadWorks teammate Marquez. It'll be interesting to see how quickly Schold and those guys back there try to get toward the front.
Marquez and Taylor teammates there in 10th and 11th.
They are indeed. Do want to shout out all of the Clindy heads that are in the that are watching the broadcast. Always a good time to see them. And so, as we affectionately call them, the Clindy heads, they're out there. It's going to be one of those things where we'll see who is willing to play nice with each other. I know from racing with these guys, the guy in third, Christopher, he's got one gear and he wants to go straight to the front. Saikila.
Car way off. Vitor Garami got loose off a 2, keeps it off the inside wall, has rejoined the race course.
Yes, he has. What a wonderful save from Vitor Garami, but he's going to drop all the way back to 23rd spot now. 24th as Lilac Zier streams by. Shane Kocher is going to come through into 25th. All sorts of problems for Vitor Garami. That car does not look hurt, but he has got to have hurt those tires a little bit, Gary. Hamilton Akabuezi, he's going to go to the high side. The Hyperstar, he's right there. And these guys are approaching Vitor almost as if, with as much care as you would a rattlesnake. They don't know what that car is going to do. They know it's been off, but they don't know what kind of shape it's in.
Giving a wide berth. Also, the always overhanging fear of netcode with these cars. So everyone gives a wide berth there. They'll move Vitor back to 29th. Scott Ross there in that Newman Haas entry, livery entry from the early 90s. He is in 30th spot, but back up front it is Christopher who have stormed to the lead. A guy that started off the ISRA open wheel season here in season 2 with back-to-back wins. And then in his third start, went back-to-back wins, then a podium in his third start. So a man that's had very little bad luck in the ISRA is now showing he is the man right now as Hollenball gets the shot at him back in the 1. And then we go back to Matty Wags, who is in a bit of a Brian Herta frame of mind. He was in a Herta livery the other night on one of our broadcasts, and now he's in another Herta livery when Herta drove for in the early days of Chip Ganassi. And then right behind him, we have the Rogue Racing trio of El Patron, Antonio Estrada, Ty Keela, and Kyle Clinworth in 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yeah, they've got Edson Santos right behind them, and then new teammate Blaze Andrich is in 8th. Following them, it's Andrew Marquez. He's working on, he's gotten past Jared Wakefield. Matt Taylor looking to get past Wakefield as well. And then here comes Charles Teague and Craig Forsyth. I do want to point out that although Matt Wagner is listed as independent, he is working with the Dark Horse guys. That would be Charles Teague and Eric Peterson. So they are in Discords together. We know that Brendan Hyperstar has got some help from others in the community. We're monitoring his stream as well. Craig Forsyth is teamed with the leader, Christopher, if that tells you the quality of those 40 racewear cars. But I'm really impressed with Marquez and Taylor. They did a great job in qualifying. They're running 9th and 10th. Those MadWorks cars look pretty good too, Gary.
And those MadWorks cars, it might not always be a setup, but the guys driving those cars are pretty heady. Marquez has been in this community for a very long time. Matt Taylor has been in this community a very long time with wins at the Lionheart level. So do not discount them. It's still early stages, early days of this race. Lap 24 coming to 25 of 186. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We certainly appreciate you being here to this afternoon, actually on a Saturday afternoon. Hopefully the weather is beautiful wherever you might be. And there is a little bit further back, Brutteau getting a run on the inside of Schold, and he thinks better of it, tucks back in line. But here comes Jesper Orman down low.
Yeah, that's a good car right there. The PRI Hoosier 500 machine of Ryan Schold. That's a solid machine. That's a solid machine. Ryan Schold, a guy I'm very familiar with, former teammate of mine. He is a very cerebral racer, the head of that Little Eagle squad. He knows how to get it done in these long races. I would not be surprised if he doesn't have something to say about this thing by the end. And then, of course, you've got Jesper Orman back there too. Jesper, we know the quality of the cars that he's able to turn out with the Indy Alliance and Rogue Racing squads. As a point, in fact, we got a car going down the inside.
That
it's Peterson,
is a Peterson, and he goes to the inside wall, and we are now under caution.
Eric Peterson was able to tow it immediately, but he did get the caution. And this is going to be one of those, Gary. I would bet you a shiny new dime that Eric Peterson overheated the right rear, and that car looped around with him as he got off of turn number 2.
That was a direct shot. This, again, thankful this is just a simulation. That was a direct shot to the inside wall, and that was a hell of a lick right there. And day done for the Dark Horse admin, but he got loose there off of corner number 2, a solo incident. And we'll bring everybody probably to pit road this time by, at least those guys in the top 6 or 7 certainly will come to pit road and get back on the same strategy as just about everybody else.
Yeah, you would think that Hollybaugh, Stouffer, Wagner, Estrada, Klindworth, Edson Santos, and Tykila would definitely want to stop. They're almost at the end of their fuel tanks. Those cars have not stopped yet, and you can really only do 36, 37 full chat, 40 if you're saving. So at 27 laps, they're going to want to come in and grab some tires, grab some gas out here. We're going to see Blaze Andrich is going to stay out. So a lot of those cars that pitted 13 laps ago, they may stay out, but more or less everybody else is coming in.
Blaze stays out. Teed stays out. Logan Edwards stays out. Your teammate, Rashad Craig, stays out. Jacob Oster staying out. So, again, this is where they're going to reclaim all of that track position they gave up on that last stop. They're going to reclaim it now. They're cashing in. Oster does not stop. Kocher does not stop. Simino does not stop. Hollenball first off pit road.
Yes, he is. So the cars that have not stopped under this yellow: Andrich, Teed, Edwards, Craig, Oster, Kocher, and Simunu. P8, Matt Hollybaugh is the first car off of pit road. He's followed by Chris Stouffer and Matt Wagner. In that top 10, we are lap 28 of 186 here at the P1 600 presented by Topia Systems. We've already had one award claimed, Gary. The Black Magic Studios Pole Award. Well, that went to Matt Hollybaugh, and so he is $25 richer. The next one that we're going to have is going to occur in, write it down, fans, about 65 laps from now. When the counter on Gary's screen goes from 93 to 94, the leader when lap 93 is completed, and it turns to lap 94 of 186, they're going to win the Internet Sim Racing Association Halfway Challenge. Now, that's an old school thing. You remember when they used to do that, Gary? Was it Gillette that picked up the tab for that? It was like $10,000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was always fun because you would see guys in an otherwise meaningless point in the race. They would all of a sudden race, just knock down, drag out hard for 10 or 15 laps. Somebody would win the halfway bonus, and then they would all fall back in line and start logging laps again. It was an interesting thing to see because a lot of people would try to rig rig their date or lead halfway, especially if you were, you weren't a factory team, you weren't you were a back marker team. That 10 grand was a big deal.
Rashad Craig, Jacob Oster, Kocher, and Olivier Simoneau all come to pit road that time by. They waited an extra lap.
Eric Peterson having a little bit of fun with the Penske crew. He said, obviously, smoothing out the attenuator didn't help the handling on his IR18. So a little bit of high comedy there from Eric Peterson. Always a sense of humor in this community, and always glad to see that, Gary. We were kind of asking the guys what their favorite race on P1 was in the last year. Do you have one?
My favorite race of P1, God, there's so many of them. I would say that the fixed Indy 500, we did pretty well with that one, so I'll go with that one. But I know that you and the AMA guys have brought the heat, so again, shout out to those guys. If you don't miss the AMA, you're missing out if you do miss the AMA, because they, in terms of stock car action, I'm not a big stock car fan. Those guys do a really good job. And you guys, when you stream it, you and Sam Crow bring a lot of authenticity to that series. Make it sound real good.
Just two guys who like racing, talking about racing, Gary. Speaking about a guy that's in the AMA and likes racing, that's Logan Edwards. He's moved himself into third place. He is behind Charles Teed. Logan Edwards is a winner in the AMA for the Luke Mansky Racing driver. He is currently under fire, though, from Matt Hollybaugh. Hollybaugh pitted. He led the cars on the pit road that did pit. Andrich, Teed, and Edwards did not stop. And so just kind of know that front three, they're out there on 17-lap-old tires. They are halfway through their stint. Hollybaugh, he's going to drop it to the inside of Logan Edwards, see if he can't make the move. Thinks better of it going into turn 3. But Blaze Andrich, he wants the lead on Charles Teed. We were talking about favorite races. My favorite one is not one that I've broadcast. It was one that I was in and won. So, Gary, take a guess at which one of those that would be.
Slide job by Antonio Strada right in front of Matty Wags. That's the Mexican clear, apparently, right there.
No Brazilian clear, Mexican clear. Wags drops back to the bottom, trying to find some clean air. The racing here, I would have thought with the temps as high as they were, my goal was to get these guys to kind of stretch out a little bit, not be on top of each other. As planned, the temperature is falling. It's 85 in the air, but it's 124 on the track. Cloud cover has come over the Michigan International Speedway, and as those temps drop, Gary, we're going to see some wild action.
Wags slams the door on Clindy. Saw him coming. Is like, nope, I'm going to fill in that spot.
Yes, he did. So I've got two, actually, 1 and 1A. The first was winning the inaugural Votive Indy Derby, just because that was a new league. I started shotgun on the field, came through, won the race, beat Craig Forsyth in a fantastic duel. By the way, both of my favorite memories are as a result of Forsyth finishing second. And wound up beating Craig in that one. That was fun to come from the back and to see how much that league has grown, and to be having been declared the inaugural winner of that race is pretty special. The other one, the Dark Horse 500, Forsyth and I staged what has been recognized as the closest finish ever in open wheel cars at Indianapolis. I beat him by 3 millimeters at the line after 500 miles. That was cool. Meanwhile, back here, the temps have gone down. The racing has gone insane.
Look at the first. You throw a blanket over the top 10 right there. Everyone's right together, and this is how the greatest thing about Michigan is you can pick a line, and chances are there's probably not a car in front of you. Although, if more of these cars start getting up front, they're going to start filling these holes in these lanes, and then every lane is going to be full, and you're going to be getting dirty air. But right now, at least these cars, caution.
Caution.
Wags.
Yeah, it's Matty Wags. He's sliding backwards down the back straight. Sliding backwards down the back stretch. And don't know what has happened to Matty. Let's see. He's running along. He's somewhere in that 8th to 10th range, Gary. Somewhere in that 8 to 10 car range. And this is going to bail out the guys who did not stop.
He got some help. He got some help here, and we'll show you that help here in just a second, and you will see the nose of that help. Unfortunately, it was Edson Santos. Boop, right there.
It was indeed. Wagner does have the meatball. He's going to make pretty solid contact with that inside wall, and I saw a giant puff of smoke come out of that car, and that's going to be a tough way to end the day. For Matt Wagner. He's going to be classified in 29th spot.
Well, now's a chance for those guys that stayed out if they want to make the turn down pit road. Lap 14 is when Teed and Andrews stopped last. And then Logan Edwards is back to 7th now. I suspect Logan will probably come to pit road. And yes, that's what they are going to do. Logan's coming out. Logan's coming down pit road. Excuse me. Santos probably going to get damage looked at on that front wing. Marquez gives up track position to top off the tank along with his teammate Taylor. Same thing with Jesper Orman. Jesper's coming down pit road to top off the tank.
Yes, he is. One of the things that I did want to point out. Now you're going to see the track position flip. So Hollybaugh, Estrada, Stouffer, Klindworth, Ty Keela, Craig Forsyth, Alberto, Hamilton Akabuezi, Brendan Hyperstar, Jacob Oster, Rashad Craig, all of those cars, they stayed out because they just stopped 10 laps ago. And so why would you come in to affect an extra stop? Charles Teed, he was leading. He's going to drop all the way back to 15th.
So we got Rigney checking in chat saying it's got to be the ISRA Gateway 150. Of course, that's the one race he won. One of my least favorite races is it was the ISRA Texas race. I had no idea how he won that race.
I do know how he won that race, and that is probably my least favorite event. I had that race. I felt like I had that race locked down. At one point, I was leading by 17 or 18 seconds, and it was in a green flag pit stop, a green flag cycle. And when you stop at Texas, you lose as many as 2 laps. And I had been very ginger coming into pit lane. I had stayed out, maximized the run. And so there had been some guys that short pitted, and it just so happened I came out right behind Mike Rigney, who had short pitted. He was leading, and I was 1 lap down. And I thought, you know what, Gary, I'm going to play the long game. I'm going to save some gas. He's going to have to come in and pit here pretty shortly. No reason to panic. And the caution flew while I was behind him. And so I was forced to take the wave around and started at the tail end of the lead lap with old tires. Everybody else, of course, got to come in. As you know, at Texas, old tires are no fun. I was able to storm back to 4th, but Rigney was the winner that day.
And there's our leader and pole sitter, Matt Hollibaugh, sporting the OMF Open Medicine Foundation sponsorship. Make sure to Google them, search them out, give them a donation. Your money be well spent and well allocated to send some their way. Lights out on the pace car. Getting ready to go green this time by... Enjoy P1's coverage on the P1 600 presented by Topia Systems, and you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing, and while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future P1 iRacing broadcasts, including in December, P1 Broadcasting becomes a primetime home for a happy hour at the Brickyard, your nightly destination for all the action leading up to the prestigious, I guess we'll call it maybe a possible sister event. Well, there might be some skin in the game for the winner here if they make in that PRI Hoosier 500. But leading up to the PRI Hoosier 500, the last kiss of the bricks for 2025 starts right here on P1. The countdown is on, so everybody pucker up and don't miss a second of the action. Like, share, and subscribe to stay locked in. And we will see you back in Indianapolis in December. And maybe we'll have some skin in the game for the winner there. And the winner here... Here we go, green flag in the air, and Hollibaugh wastes no time, but he's got himself a big lead to Estrada. Estrada's going to get a big run down the backstretch.
They are all over back around P9, P10. Akabuezi, Lichtenberg, and Oster, they're all right together. They thought about going 3 wide momentarily. They did not. But that was kind of a knot back there. Meanwhile, the front 4 have broken away slightly from P5, Tykila. Craig Forsyth, he's going to go to the outside. Meanwhile, Hamilton Akabuezi, he's going to drop to the inside of Alan Bruteau, and Brendan Lichtenberg is going to go for that spot as well. Now these guys are not so far that they have lost the draft yet. Especially we know the quality of the cars that Akabuezi, Oster, and Lichtenberg are driving. They are not out of the draft envelope, and if they can get single file here, they're going to catch up rather rapidly. The gap between Craig Forsyth and Christopher, and remember those are teammates, is about 0.7 of a second. Now Tykila, he's going to draft back by Forsyth. Here comes Akabuezi. He's going to have a huge run. Akabuezi is going to try to get 2 for the price of
3
1.
wide for the lead. Down low, Clindy goes purple, and he says, you know what? I'm going to go number 1 now as he goes to the point. 2:21.8 with a big run on that twosome up front. He goes to the lead, and here comes his teammate to the inside. Estrada. El Patron says, I'm the boss. I'm not done yet. I'm going back to the lead. He picks up back the lead in turn 3. Hollenball slots in back in 3rd. He will follow the teammate duo up front of him. Right behind him is Christopher. And as you mentioned, that next group is starting to gain in on him a little bit. It's Akabuezi, Quilla, Oster, and Forsyth are bringing those next set of cars up into the top 4 here.
Yes, they are. It's not going to be very long, Gary, before they do get back here, and they're being led by a very fast automobile in Hamilton Akabuezi. But then once they get there, do they really want? We do. I mean, you've got 142 laps to go this time by. Is this a situation where you really want to lead, or is it more of a Hanford Device Michigan race where you're perfectly happy to let Clindy and Antonio swap the lead while you run 3rd, 4th, or 5th?
And for those of you watching not familiar with the Hanford device, basically think of a billboard, and then you staple it or nail it to the back of the tail wing here of one of these Indy cars. And that's exactly what the Hanford device was. It was a big drag-causing device that would punch a major hole in the air, and leads were not safe during the kart era when the IndyCar ran those here. You could be leading, taking the white flag, and then be back in 5th spot by the time you come back around for the checkered flag.
Yes, you could. Yes, you could. Those were fun days. But those were also days where you did not want to lead one of these races.
Right.
And so
yeah.
you would see guys it looked like they'd be going down the backstretch at Michigan, and it would look like they'd blown up, and then you'd look like they'd blown up, and you're like, no, he's not. He doesn't want to lead. Guys standing on their brakes. I'll tell you who's not standing on his brakes. Hamilton Akabuezi. He's going to dispose of Matt Hollybaugh, and he's going to try to get between the road racing duo. Right up the middle goes Hamilton.
Threading the needle for the P1 Docks car.
Here comes that fiercely forward machine. He's going to drop underneath Clindy. El Patron, Antonio Estrada, he's going to drop below both. Estrada to the bottom, Akabuezi to the middle, Clinworth on top, Hollybaugh in the middle behind them. They've got Christopher and Jacob Oster. Tykila, Craig Forsyth, Brendan Lichtenberg is interested parties here. But Hamilton Akabuezi is going to come out the victor. And here comes Oster.
Oh, Oster just goes right to the bottom. I think maybe Antonio was going to make it a little difficult for him, but Oster was doing a full send anyways.
Now Hamilton's going to go to the inside. Clindy has a huge run, thinks better of it. Akabuezi to the inside of Estrada. Jacob Oster, he likes that high line, Gary. He likes that high line, and he's going to try to ride it. Watch him as he catches the draft, see if he can shoot down through the middle. He does not. Estrada goes to the bottom one more time of Akabuezi. Oster and Clinworth, they'll battle for second. Now Clindy through the middle.
I tell you, Estrada's week did not start off good. He got a couple laps into the Indy Oval Series finale at New Hampshire before he got booted. And his day ended very early. So early, he came up to the booth for a little bit. But he's looking to get a little redemption this week in a race that doesn't pay points but pays money.
I was going to say those road racing cars look awfully tough right now. They are currently P1, P2, and then you've got Ty Keela in 8th, Jesper Orman in 11th. Those are the road cars that currently remain, and then you would call it a sister car, Rashad Craig running in 20th. Rashad is not known as a great oval racer, but he is probably one of the most patient drivers that you will ever run across. He knows that there is nothing to be gained by being right at the front right now. Estrada, he thinks there's everything to gain, though. He'll swap back up with Clinworth. And what this does is it has a calming effect, Gary, as we get longer into this run. Estrada, Clinworth, Oster, Halibaugh, Akabuezi, these cars are 22 laps into their run. And what this does, it's not going to let them pull away necessarily, but what it is going to do is it's going to have a calming effect on the pack. As the tires get hotter and more worn, it becomes much more difficult to sustain speed through the corners, carry speed through the corners in dirty air. And so it does tend to single file people out. And that's just as valuable in a race like this as making these passes and trying to build a lead is. Just calm, logging laps.
Matt Wagner checking in from the infield care facility. He said he enjoyed the race. Must have been a football game going out there, something about a punt, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, he's not a very happy camper. Matty Wagner had a great race car today, and it's unfortunate. He ran at the front, and unfortunately wound up going off the nose of another car. That'll happen. Looking a little bit further back in this top 10, that action just keeps getting faster and more furious, doesn't it, Gary?
Now they're behaving themselves pretty good now. I think they all realize they got to get into a bit of a rhythm here and into a green flag run. Otherwise, if they don't get into a green flag run and get to some green flag pit stops, they're going to be in these packs the entire time. And these drivers don't always want to be in these packs. Pack racing is good for a while, but after a while, the people start, pack racing, let's put it this way. Close proximity to people, that's when mistakes happen, that's when wrecks happen, that's when people don't like pack racing. We like to watch pack racing, we just don't like to race in pack racing.
No, we don't. And with the temperatures here today, it's cooled off a little bit since the start of this race. Right now it's 122 on the track, but the conditions just aren't conducive to pack racing, Gary. The track is cooling off, but it's getting a little bit more slick. As it does, you're only going to be able to sustain those giant packs for a short period of time, 10, 15 laps max, and then it's just the car will not allow you to be there. Jesper Orman, I'm watching him. He keeps diving toward the bottom of the speedway. Everybody else, and kind of what it looks like at Michigan as you go here, most drivers will kind of get into a conga line up at the top. Jesper Orman's found clean air at the bottom. He's gone from 12th. He's working on Craig Forsyth for 8th. Make that 7th. But Jesper Orman has found some clean air there at the bottom, and he's decided it's time to come to the front. They might be getting a little busier because they've got 30 laps or about 60 miles until the next payout, Gary.
And speaking of payout, currently your leader for the hard charger payout at the moment is Jesper Orman, up 24 spots. The low-line Meister right there, as he is in the middle lane this time through turns 3 and 4, has worked his way up from his 32nd starting position.
Yes, he has. And you don't know what these guys are doing in terms of saving fuel. You don't know what maps they're running in. I noticed Jacob Oster has fallen off the back of Clinworth and Estrada. I would bet you a shiny new dime that he is not running that car as hard as he can. Olivier's, we've got trouble in turn 2. Daniel Durazo, Daniel the Cat, is slow. He's on the backstretch. He does have the car moving forward. He is off the racing line. Hopefully this will not cause a caution. He has gotten it to the apron in turn 3, and there's the caution. Durazo, he had to stop it to tow it, and so the caution does come out. Daniel Durazo,
interesting happen here,
made impact.
Did he have an equipment failure?
I think that I don't know.
He doesn't look like he turns.
The monitor turned off.
That is what we call a mechanical. And here you see what happens when your monitor goes blank in iRacing, everybody. It's like shutting your eyes. Don't do that, by the way. Don't shut your eyes on the highway, but yeah, boink right there. And that is unfortunate.
It is 58 laps into a scheduled 186. Kyle Clinworth, the Clindy, is your leader, and that will please the Clindy heads in the audience. El Patron, Antonio Estrada is second, Jacob Oster third, Matt Hollybaugh and Christopher. They'll round out your top five. Forsyth, Orman, Akabuezi, Ty Keela, and Brendan Hyperstar round out the top 10.
Not just, you talk about the hours that you spend with these open setups. Now, some of these guys are probably using an open setup that they've had on hand for a very, very long time. But even some of these drivers in the past spend hours and hours just tweaking on these setups, making them better, making them faster. All the while, you also need to tweak your PC. You got to make sure your PC is always tweaked. It's running at peak and maximum performance. It can't be doing things like doing Windows updates in the middle of the race. It can't be doing things like shutting USB ports on and off during the middle of the race. And you got to go down through a checklist there and make sure that you're always putting the latest BIOSes on your motherboards, updating the latest drivers on everything. You got to always be checking all that stuff out. As Clindy misses his marks, he has a backup just a little bit. That's going to cost him probably a position on pit road. But, yeah, there's a great deal of tweaking that you need to do for your PCs. And, hey, while we're talking about PCs and watching all these cars coming off of pit road, ghosting turned off. We might have almost had a phase into moment there. But, hey, you want to check out Topia Systems. They are the presenting sponsor of the P1 600 here on P1. Topia is where quality and affordability go full throttle. From custom rigs to powerful pre-builds, Topia delivers top-tier performance without all the sticker shock. Built with premium parts and backed by a team that really cares. Every system is tuned for gaming greatness. Topia Systems, if you're looking for a system that's not going to go to Windows Update in the middle of an iRacing event for you, you want to check them out. Built right, price right, game on. To learn more, check out their links in the description. If you like the graphics you are seeing right now on this stream here on YouTube, it is off a Topia system. They build beasts, and check them out if you are looking for a new rig, or if your current rig, I don't know, is blanking out the monitor. Yeah, maybe you need to check out with Topia Systems.
You know, I might need to do some of that myself, Gary. My system is nice, but it is a 6-year-old build. It might be time to send it down to them and have them go through it. To be completely honest with you, we are 59 working in a lap 60. We'll get the green flag getting at lap 61 of 186. As a reminder, if any of the drivers out there are watching the broadcast, and I know Brendan has his crew watching, we're going to pay $25 to the leader at halfway. Lap 93, cut the end of lap 93.
Watching Shane Kocher come to pit road. He gave up track position inside the top 5 to make a stop. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. It is the run. It's not the run for the Roses. It's the race for the Roses. It's the Indy Votive Indy Derby at Kentucky Speedway. Their crown jewel for their Season 3 championship of their Indy Oval Series that they have coming up. That's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Myself and Luis Gonzalez Nunez will call the action. Normally that has about 30 cars in it, so check that out. That's round 1 of Season 3 of the Votive Indy Oval Series tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on P1. Charles Teed stayed out. He last stopped on lap 38. So did Edson Santos, Jared Wakefield. All 3 of those drivers stopped on lap 38 or 39. They are 22 to 21 laps, respectively, into their runs, and they will be taking the green flag here this time by coming to lap 61 here at Michigan International Speedway. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. We look forward to having you for more races in the future. And here we go. Green flag in the air, and looks like Teed is going to bring him down really slow.
Yes, he does. Edson Santos does not close up on the back of Charles Teed. That's going to let Teed get a big lead, and that is not to a driver's advantage. Charles Teed is going to have about a half a second lead when they get down to turn 1. That is going to be erased. by the time he gets to the end of the backstretch, should Santos choose to do so. Those are two names that have not been up at the front. Neither has Jared Wakefield. He currently sits third. He's going to drop. He's looking like he wants to make a bid for second on the veteran Edson Santos.
Wakefield, I believe he's a driver for one of the the All-American iRacers.
Shows he injured from Project 2, but very well could be an affiliated team.
Yeah, I think he is.
I do want to point out, Gary, that front three did not pit. They are 24 laps onto their current run.
Yes, they are.
Jacob Oster leads the
next group,
the crew that just stopped. Yeah, yep. And they are right there. So Charles Teed, Jared Wakefield, Edson Santos, they're soaking up some TV time, but they're going to be awfully short on fuel here pretty quickly. Lap 62 of 186 is in the books, working lap 63, and it appears as though Wakefield wants to go by Teed on the high side.
And those two are starting to break away at the front a little bit as they're getting bound up a little bit behind Santos. Here comes Estrada down underneath Santos, and he Brazilian clears the Brazilian. He gives him the dirty air off the corner. Now, unfortunately, you don't do as much racing as you used to do. You're in the booth an awful lot, helping out the channel, which is much appreciated. I don't race that much, but I'm a big advocate of racing smarter and not harder, knowing that the top two, and put yourself in Antonio's shoes, the top two have to stop and the guy behind you has to stop. How hard are you willing to race those guys in front of you when you could just stay behind, save fuel, knowing they're eventually just going to leave the racetrack and give you the lead?
Yeah, I mean, probably so. I mean, there's no point for Antonio in this group to really lean on it and try to get by Teed and Wakefield. As a matter of fact, it's to their advantage to let those two cars stay out in the lead because it burns up their fuel faster. Remember, they're working to a number, and that number is 18 laps from now. If you let Teed and Wakefield get behind you, that saves them some fuel that they may need to fight you later on. And so it's not going to benefit you necessarily to have them. It's not going to benefit you necessarily to have them behind you. Although Estrada, he's going to drop to the inside, go by Teed, put Antonio Estrada to second, Teed to third. Now Clindy's looking to the inside. Estrada's going to drop down to
pop
pick
out
him
and help him out. Yep, he pops down to help him out. Big run to the inside. Little lift from Estrada to allow his teammate on by. Send Clindy to the point around Wakefield. And we might have a new leader at the line. It's going to be really close with that high line, with all the momentum. I think Clindy got the lap. Protecting the bottom is Estrada. Although he might like the bottom. The car might rotate for him very well down there. He goes to the bottom, picks up the lead over his teammate Clindy. But all the while, here comes Oster. Here comes Hollaball. And just behind them, let's not discount the effort put forth by Craig Forsyth. Or Jesper Orman.
Yeah, I was going to say Forsyth and Jesper Orman just split Charles Teed right down the middle. I made him the bologna in the sandwich. They're going to go to 6th and 7th, move Teed to 8th. Meanwhile, Jared Wakefield is in a mess of trouble. He has got the dirty air from the cars in front of him. He's on old tires, and to make matters worse, he's got Forsyth and Orman coming behind him. Teed has a boatload of trouble coming from Christopher. Ryan Schultz is back there.
Yeah, it's a good run to the bottom there.
Yeah, Jesper on the bottom. Edson Santos is back there. He's on 30-lap old tires. And here comes Ryan Schultz. We mentioned that Little Eagle driver in the PRI Presents the Hoosier 500 car. He's made it back up. He's made it back up to 11th, effectively 8th on the course. Brendan Lichtenberg is 12th, effectively 9th on the course. He's battling Taikila right now for position.
Evasive maneuver by Wakefield down the backstretch. Takes a big duck to the inside. I'm not sure if he just saw a car coming, decides to get out of the way, or wanted to go to the bottom. He might also be in a position where he now knows he's probably with about 4 laps from making a pit stop or so. certainly inside of 10 laps for making that pit stop for a lot of these guys that stopped on lap 39. They're now been shuffled out of the lead. They got to get to the bottom of the racetrack so they can come to pit road. There you see Edson Santos doing the same thing.
Yes, you do. Watching Ryan Schold, he's going to go by Edson Santos, put Schold up to 9th. Jared Wakefield is now the highest running of those cars that did not stop. He is 8th. And those cars are within, they had some caution laps in there. I'm going to say they've probably got 6 or 7 laps of fuel.
They're certainly within
maybe.
10, yeah. Certainly within 10.
Now, that can work to their advantage, and it can work to their disadvantage. It depends on when they catch the yellow flag as to how that plays out for them. Ultimately, if you're betting on a long run, it benefits you to make the stop, to be the first on pit road. That can be a benefit, but you have to be able to catch on to the tail end of the line. In order to do that, you really need to be at the front of that line, and you need to make a really good pit entrance. And so if they're going to fall, as they're falling back here, Gary, I don't know that short pit is going to benefit them. We'll see. Meanwhile, Estrada, Clinworth still lead it. Oster is laying 3rd.
Matt Taylor, an aggressive move down the backstretch to the inside of Teed. Again, Teed with it probably very close from hitting his number for come in for his pit stop, but he's running that high line, and everyone is kind of freight training him on the bottom now. But Taylor gets on by, move Taylor now up to 16th spot. Jesper Orman around Craig Forsyth. Now Forsyth with the run on the high side gets back on by. Stouffer in the draft of his teammate right in front of him. It's going to get pulled alongside through and move those two up 2 spots. Orman still up 25 spots from where he started, slots in behind him. And here comes Ryan Schold.
Yeah, very impressed with the Little Eagle machine running along there in 8th spot for Ryan Schold. That's a great run for him here.
Meanwhile, up front, it is the boss, El Patron, your leader, with his teammates guarding his 6th. That is Clindy. Getting the slingshot pass on by. Right behind him, the I-5G entry of Oster. The All-American iRacer right behind them at our pole center. Matt Hollenball is in 4th. And the lead 4D car at the moment for 4D Racewear is Craig Forsyth. Of course, you want to check out 4D's line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them at 4dracewear.com. They've always been a long-time supporter of the channel. Want to shout them out. And here comes the P1 Doc entry of the fiercely forward squad of Hamilton and Akabuizi going to the bottom. No relations between P1 Doc and P1 Broadcasting, but I like to say great minds think alike.
I can vouch for 4D Racewear too. Jim Herrick has been a longtime supporter of me personally. Gloves, shoes. You cannot go wrong with anything that anything that they have. If you're a sim racer, and if you got those Alcantara wheels, the gloves definitely help preserve those things. They don't get all sweaty and sticky and break apart on you. So invest in some gloves if you've got a nice wheel. Meanwhile, Clindy and Estrada continue to swap the lead, but Akabuizi has brought himself up to 4th. Ryan Schold is now 6th. 17 laps left until we award another $25. The Internet Sim Racing Association halfway challenge is getting ready to come up, Gary.
Right. Make sure to check out our ISRA action on Monday nights for their Sim Gaming Expo Open Wheel Series, or Season 2. Currently in the middle of that. We just completed our very first ever road course race last week. And we will move on to the high banks paperclip of Homestead Miami Speedway at 9:35 p.m. Eastern times when we go live this Monday. Check us out. Their admin is in the chat.
Yes, he is. Mike Rigney, big supporter of all things sim racing, and of course the Sim Gaming Expo. If you're not going to be there, you're going to miss out. That's going to be a heck of a good time. I know Gary and I are going to be there. Quite a few of our fellow competitors are planning on making the trip to Chicago, and so would love to see everybody come to that great event. It's going to be the second weekend in September. Meanwhile, the more I try to talk about sponsors, the more hot and heavy the action gets.
That's
front.
typically how it goes. Whenever you do these races and you try to get the sponsors in, something always happens on the racetrack.
It does. Speaking of happenings, I'd like to go back to 12th for a second. Rashad Craig has been running along anywhere between 20th and 25th in this event. I looked up and saw Rashad Craig going by Brendan Lichtenberg. He is making a move for 12th. He's pulling up on the back of Edson Santos, who is due on pit road any time now.
Two of those cars in front of him are due on pit road any time there, because that's Wakefield down low.
Yeah, those cars have to be just about out of gas. And if I were Lichtenberg and Craig, I would want to get by them post haste, because who knows if they're, who knows if they're not going to run out, and wouldn't that be devastating? Wakefield looks like he's dropping down to the bottom here. Did not signal for pit in. But give a call down to Rashad Craig. He's not been there. There's the call out. Jared Wakefield is going to make his pit stop next time. Edson Santos did not signal for a stop. Lichtenberg now has decided it's time for him to come to the front. He lunges to the inside of Jesper Orman.
The Hyperstar has hit hyperspace.
Jesper Orman has decided he's done. He goes by Ryan Scholl straight to the bottom of Chris Stover. Not able to quite hold it on the old tires. Scholl is going to scream right back past the road racing entry, and Brendan is going to try to follow him. This action is incredible for the conditions, Gary, and the reason I say that is it started out with a 100.
We got contact coming into turn 3, and it looks like, yes, there it is. Edson Santos is wrecked, and Matt Taylor was missing a front wing, but he's been forgiven by iRacing. Santos is into the wall. Collision in turn 3 brings us under caution right when all those drivers were coming to pit road.
So Wakefield Wakefield did go a lap down. Edson Santos, I think, was trying to get Wakefield's been given his lap back, so Wakefield will effectively be the leader. Edson Santos, it just appears, was trying to get to pit lane and may have net coded up into the wall.
Go back and watch this here. It's right around Matt Taylor. And we'll slow this down momentarily when we see the action again. Oh, that's what happened. Okay. Watch right here down the backstretch. Rashad to the inside of Edson. And Edson just really close proximity to the wall. And like if you get too close to the cars, these cars to the wall, there's like a magnet there, and it'll reach out and grab you. And that's kind of looks like what happened. Now, that looks like the front wing of Taylor's car snapped back in. So Taylor is given, he's been forgiven by iRacing. But the damage on Santos's car is done, as we will watch Santos again down the backstretch. Bam. Now he's in the wall, loses that momentum, catches a little bit of front wing from Taylor's car, and then he had a suspension failure, and he comes right on around, and his race is more than likely done, as you see that car wobbling there with the suspension failure. Edson Santos and the leaner energy entry done for the day. All right, and so we are going to see a couple waiver rounds. Teed is going to get the waiver round, so will Wakefield, as you mentioned. Staying out is Blaze Andrich. He is betting a little betting a little bit of a track strategy on some position here. He is 25 laps into his run, but he will pick up the lead once the two cars in front of him get the waiver round.
Yes, he does, and why not? If you're Blaze Andrich, why not? There's some nice money on the line here in 8 green flag laps, 25 lap old tires. Why not take a shot at it, Gary?
Yeah, he might be looking at seeing that we're getting to the money lap here, less than 10 laps from now. And he's like, yeah, this might be my best shot to get a little bit of side cash here out of this race.
Could be. Do want to thank the Internet Sim Racing Association, the ISRA, and the Sim Gaming Expo series. Aired Monday night, 9:30, for putting up the halfway challenge money. It's getting close. The pace car does have the lights off, and so we're going to be going back to green here within the next lap, and then we're going to have what amounts to an 8-lap trophy dash, or well, an 8-lap dash for the cash. Blaze Andrich has the lead. Estrada second, teammate behind him. Jacob Oster third, Matt Hollybaugh fourth, Hamilton Akabuezi fifth, Forsyth, Stover, Clinworth, Lichtenberg, and Orman round out your top 10. Scholden, Rashad Craig are 11th and 12th. And I had kind of been thinking at the beginning of this thing, if there was a dark horse in this race, if there were a couple of dark horses, they would be Ryan Scholden and Rashad Craig. Both of them are excellent drivers. Both of them more noted as road racers. Both of them excellent in these long distance races, Gary, and they've begun to come up to the front.
If you're just joining us, this is P1's coverage of the P1 600 presented to you by Topia Systems, coming to you from Michigan International Speedway. We've now completed 85, coming to 86 laps of a scheduled 186, or about 100 to go here. If you're enjoying our coverage of today's race and like to monetarily support us, we do this for free for the community. Please find a link to our GoFundMe campaign in the stream description. You can also send us super chats. We realize times are tough, and your donation, no matter the amount, is greatly appreciated. There is green on the racetrack right now as we are back green flag racing at lap 86 as Blaze Andrich, 4-alarm Blaze Andrich, is now your leader. Estrada second, Oster third, Hollibaugh fourth, and Akabuezi in fifth.
Now, Blaze Andrich did jump out to a rather large lead there. And again, that may be one of those situations where that hurts him, because here comes Jacob Oster to the inside. He's got Antonio Estrada just outside. Put the worm man in the second momentarily. Not going to be able to make it stick. Antonio Estrada is going to reclaim second. Hamilton Akabuezi has moved into fourth over Matt Hollybaugh. Craig Forsyth and Clindy, they're going to do battle for 6th and 7th. But here comes Jacob Oster around the high side now.
He just stayed high. It's like he almost didn't turn his car as enough as everyone else did around him. He's just like, I'm going to stay the high line. And I don't think maybe Blaze expected him to stay the high line, but he stayed the high line. He has a big run down the backstretch. He's going to stay the high line in turns 3 and 4. Also on the high line, there is Akabuezi. Remember, Akabuezi won our broadcast split of the fixed Indy 500 back in May. Also won our broadcast that we are contracted out to do for the Elite Racing League, their Indy 500. And there he splits the middle. The 2-time Indy 500 winner in May goes to the point and is now the new leader over Oster, who says, not so fast, my friend. And Antonio Estrada still hanging tough in third.
Yeah, and that's a pro-level driver right there, Jacob Oster. That is a guy that was in the Bud Kicker series. That is a very, very rapid man.
Craig Forsyth almost up in the wall in turn 4. 3 wide for second position. Clindy now up high. Hollenball now is engaged down low. Here comes Oster to the bottom side. Clindy stays high. He's following the Oster approach from turn 1. Staying low is Hollenball.
Yes, he is. Oster right now has the point, 90 of 186 complete. Hamilton Akabuezi, he's going to go back to the top. Look at the run that Matt Hollybaugh got into third place. He's going to split up the road cars from Akabuezi and Oster. And Jesper Orman has found his way to the back of this train. It's the front 6 cars. They've managed to form a breakaway. Blaze Andrich on those old tires is not able to keep up, Gary. What's more, he separated Forsyth, Stover, Lichtenberg, and others from this battle for the lead.
This might be a team strategy. He might just be back there. The road guys are like, hold that second group off. Let's decide this money between us 6 up here. And it's the start of the Indy 500. 3 wide down the front stretch, but at 220 miles an hour.
But it's not the road guys that are up front. It's I5G on the bottom. It's Fiercely Ford in the middle. It's All-American iRacers on the top. Now he's to the bottom. Matt Hollibaugh to the bottom down the back, and that's going to give the run to El Patron, Antonio Estrada to the top, and he's got teammates in force behind him. Orman and Clinworth looking to back up Estrada on that top line. They can't quite get there. Oster and Acabuese are going to swap one more time. Lap 92 is underway.
You're just within a few laps of that midway bonus. Remember Matt, it's 93 coming to 94. Remember, that's the pay lap.
Right. So the money lap begins when we hit the start-finish line. It will end the next time we cross the start-finish line. Matt Hollibaugh was the first one to the pay window today. He won the Black Magic Studios Pole Award. Let's see who's going to win the Internet Sim Racing Association Halfway Challenge. There's 3 wide for it. Make that 4 wide. Here comes Clindy.
Oh, my goodness. Then he shoots to the bottom. He's going to... Oh, Clindy contact. He loses his front wing. Now he's forgiven. What a break. What a break. And who's going to win the money? Who's going to win the money?
It is going to be...
Acabuese by 0.00. It's 4 thousandths of a second is how I saw it.
Yeah, we're gonna go back and get the video. We're gonna get the video footage. You keep calling it, Gary. I've got the.
I think it was him by four. Is it? Let's see. Hundreds, tenths, hundreds, thousandths. Yeah, I think it's thousands.
It's Hamilton Acabuese by about 2 inches. So Hamilton Acabuese is going to win the Internet Sim Racing Association Halfway Challenge. My goodness gracious!
They were racing like it was a last lap. That actually, I don't know if they're keeping track or really cared, but it looked like, or everyone was keeping track or really cared, but it looked like certainly those battling for the lead looked like they were really keeping track.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. So Hamilton Acabuese becomes the second man to win $25.
So how damaged is Clindy? I think he's some degree of still damaged as Blaze Andrews coming to pit road.
Yeah, Blaze was going to be pretty much out of gas right there anyway. He gambled, and we'll see where he comes out. Now, if he can hang on to the back of this pack, he is not going to be in that bad of shape, because he'll be able to cycle up and cycle forward. And it's possible if he can hang on to the back of the pack for Blaze Andrews, this could all work out to his advantage in a long green flag scenario. So we do want to kind of keep an eye on Blaze Andrews.
I think Clindy's damaged. I do think Clindy is damaged. And Blaze Andrews, yeah, black flag, pit road speed, limit, penalty. I do think Clindy is damaged somehow. Even though that front wing looks fine, I don't think it is fine.
No, it's going to be, it may still be there, but it's definitely scuffed in some degree. And that's going to affect the handling on his car. The good news is, next time pit stops come around, and he's going to have to be the judge of that. But the next time pit stops come around, Gary, Clindy can come in, pop on a new front wing. It is a 5-second penalty to do so. So do keep that in mind. If he wants a new front wing, they can do it. They can fix it. 5 seconds is the time to do that. So you don't really want to do it under green if you don't have to. Tough break for Blaze Andrews with the speeding ticket. Meanwhile, Oster, Acabuese, and Orman have catapulted themselves to the front. It's going to be Antonio Estrada in 4th. Matt Hollibaugh 5th. Ryan Schold has made it to 6th. And you talked about, Gary, a little bit of a pot sweetener for that Hoosier 100 race.
500.
500 race. I'm sorry, Hoosier 500. go ahead and put Ryan up there on the screen. So the winner of this race has a chance at a $100 bonus if they claim the PRI Hoosier 500. We're going to call that the P1 Challenge. P1, of course, we're the home of the P1 600. We're going to do practice and qualifying for the PRI Hoosier 500. If a driver can win both, C-note. How's that, Gary?
Yeah, a pot sweetener is always nice. A little something extra. Of course, remember, what was it, PPG? Or was it PPG or Borg Warner kept adding $10,000 to the pot for every year that there wasn't a repeat winner for the Indy 500? And no one really paid any attention to it until there was a winner for back-to-back Indy 500s. And that winner, Joseph Newgarden, I think, got himself like an extra $400,000 just because of that.
Yeah, it was $25,000 a year, and it had been going on for 20 years.
Yeah.
And nobody thought about it, and then Newgarden won it, and it was a pile of money. So,
that's a nice little pot sweetener. So here, an extra $100 for someone that can manage to win the P1 600 and the PRI Hoosier 500.
It is indeed. We have got a barn burner of a race going right now, though. Jesper Orman has taken the lead from Antonio Estrada. Orman has begun to pull away now.
Yeah, he has. Half a second.
Yeah, he's begun to pull away. He is the first car that we've seen actually get out there and lead like that. Jacob Oster, he's going to go down the bottom and try to catch some of Jesper's draft. Ryan Scholde has made his way up to fourth, past Hamilton Akabuezi in fifth.
Logan Edwards going 3 wide down the backstretch underneath Stouffer. Going to take a stab at Ty, but I don't think he's going to be able to get to Ty. In fact, the dirty air is going to cost him the position that he just got on Oster. And right behind him is Taylor and Craig. And this is the top 14. And pretty much the top 14 all under a blanket right now from 1st to 14th.
They are indeed. Do want to report that Clindy did pull his car down the pit lane. He did not take he did take a new front wing, 13.5 seconds. He has gone a lap down, but Clindy is back out on the speedway, 1 lap down, new front wing after the collision that took his front wing away, or at least knocked it askew. Antonio Estrada has gone back past Jesper Orman to the lead. Ryan Scholde has made his way to third. Jacob Oster hangs on in fourth. Craig Forsyth is in fifth. Matt Hollybaugh 6th, Hamilton Akabuezi 7th, Brendan Lichtenberg, the Hyperstar, is in 8th, Fortson 9th, Ty Keela is 10th.
Now let's give a shout out to Fortson. Fortson won here in the Votive Series, and their first race of season 2 is right here at Michigan, and he won in a duel with Edson Santos coming to the checkered flag. So someone that has a win here in league competition, and very stiff league competition for that particular race, is Fortson. So let's not rule him out. He's putting his car in a position here coming into the late stages where he might be someone that we need to watch. Now just peeking into the top 10. And then Ty Quillett right behind him. Ty, he is in 10th, member of Rogue Racing, and we've already seen a number of the Rogue Racing cars up in the top 10. He is finally getting up there. He will join Antonio Estrada and Jesper Orman, who are 1 and 2 on the racetrack.
Yes, he does now. Orman and Estrada are doing the swap thing. They've got a lone gunman in Ryan Scholde in third. Craig Forsyth has a teammate in the race, but Chris Stouffer is back in 12th. Matt Hollybaugh is the lone All-American iRacer entry in the field. You've really got to go back to Jacob Oster and Hamilton Akabuezi, Brendan Lichtenberg. That's 6, 7, and 9. We're pretty sure those cars are working together. That's Team I5G and the Fiercely Forward with P1 Docs entry. The other thing that's kind of interesting about this race, it is an open setup race, but it is the last open setup race as far as we're aware of any
broadcasted open setup race. Or
really any repute. We're going to get a rescan in this car, Gary, and so the IR18 is going to change, and it's pretty much thought that that the setup book you mentioned that some of these teams have spent years laboriously building is finally going to come to an end. Blaze Andrich just now comes off pit road. He was there for 6 minutes on the pit lane. He's gone 12 laps down.
He maybe decided to take that opportunity to go hit the restroom and do some other things. Don't get himself into a Connor Daly situation.
Very true, Gary. There is a car out in front of Jesper Orman, I believe.
As Alexander Miller.
Yeah, that's Alexander Miller. He is 8 laps down. Estrada and Orman continue to trade the lead. Schuld is third in the Little Eagle machine. Craig Forsyth for 40 Racewear and Matt Hollybaugh in the All-American iRacers entry. They are the top 5. This race has not really gone like any of the handicappers would have thought, has it, Gary?
I think some people that we expected to see there are there. I think there's some people that are punching higher than their weight class right now, and that's good to see. They must have got a really good setup. Sometimes getting a really good setup is a bit of a evens things up, a bit of a equal playing ground, so to speak. As we're watching out the back of Alexander Miller, who had an incident earlier in the race with Seb Alexander, down on speed. But look at these hard chargers, like a stream of angry bees running him down out of turn 4 down the front stretch.
Yes, they are. Jesper Orman looking to the outside, and it appears as though that's a fairly sedate swap situation between. It looks like a fairly sedate swapping situation between Estrada and Orman there. It does not appear as though they're really contesting each other. Looks like Alexander Miller is going to stay to the high side.
Yeah, he just needs to stay high and be predictable at this point. That's what all these drivers around them want. Stay high and predictable. Hold your line. No sudden movements. Watching out of the back of his Dallara IR18 and watch the stream. Just everybody come on by. Here comes the freight train.
Yeah, don't do anything that would spook anybody behind you. Don't hit the wall either. He is awfully close. Is Alexander Miller, and he's doing exactly what he needs to be doing here. Alexander Miller.
Oh, we're caution. And I'm not sure who.
Yeah, looking through my situation here.
Blaze Andrich.
Let's see what has befallen Blaze.
Come to stop on the race course.
I think he was exiting pit lane and the car stops. And so Blaze Andrich brings out the yellow flag with that. He had been 7 laps down, was Blaze Andrich. Clindy is a lap down, 24 cars on the lead lap. Alexander Miller, 9 laps in arrears. Andrich is 16 laps down. Santos has retired. Drazo, Wagner, Peterson, Alexander, Strauss, and Plant also out of the race. So not bad, 34 entries. We've got 24 on the lead lap. I would guess with 29 laps on their tires that everybody is going to come into the pit lane, and that's going to let Clindy take the wave around and get his lap back, Gary. Don't see anybody gambling on 29 lap old tires here.
No. So it looks like just Blaze stopped on the apron, and that's what brought out the caution. Not sure what he stopped for.
My guess would be some kind of a failure or something.
Yeah.
And he's apologizing in the in-race chat. So classy move from Blaze. Everybody is going to bring their cars down pit lane except for Kyle Clinworth. Clindy needed that. It's when you're in that position, it's almost like the miracle that you need to get back on the lead lap. That's the situation for Kyle Clinworth. He gets what he needed. He's back on the lead lap, but he's going to have a long way to go. Andy's going to be 11 laps in arrears on fuel, so he's still going to have to save quite a bit of fuel to try to make it to the end of this thing.
Well, if he gets the wave around, he could still come the pit road, right? But he'll have to start at the end of the longest line. If he's got to start at the end of the longest line anyway, so you get the wave around really quick, come down pit road, and get a stop. And get
they don't wave you until you go.
So he'd have to be really, really aggressive to get back around to pit road, and then I don't know. It'd be tough. He could do it, I think, but it'd be tough.
It is theoretically possible. As soon as the pace car hits the start-finish line, you will see the driver of the number 11 machine absolutely sprint back around here, but I don't think he's going to have time. He's going to have time to get himself
Easy coming to pit road, giving up track position. So he is going to dive in and do a late stop here to extend his run on this stint.
Now that's an interesting thought. There are 73 laps to go, 72 to go at the line here. It is generally thought that full bore you can make 36 laps.
And Clindy is light-footing it around, by the way. He is not pushing.
No, because he's 13 laps down on fuel, so he doesn't.
So he's not coming to pit road. He is just going to rejoin the tail end of the field.
Correct.
That tells me that he's not hitting pit road. Yeah.
Yeah. Theoretically, he could, and he would take the tail end of the longest line penalty. Clindy is not going to do that, and there's 72 going to be 71 laps to go. There's no real need to do that here, Gary. I would bet you a shiny new dime.
Got a lot of those, don't you?
I would bet you a shiny new quarter that there's going to be another yellow before this thing is all said and done. That's going to reset all this anyway, so not worried about that.
All right, here we go green, coming to lap 116 of 186. It is Jesper, El Patron, Antonio Estrada, Ryan Schold, Craig Forsyth, Matt Hollenbaugh. Your top 5 back underway here in the 600. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Settle in. We have ourselves shaping up to be a heck of a finish. And not too far in the future from now, down the backstretch, go the Rogue Racing teammates.
Yes, they are. Meanwhile, Matt Hollenbaugh, he's going to move to the inside of Craig Forsyth. We're going to see if the Hyperstar can follow him through.
Brendan down low. He's sporting the Sim Gaming Expo sponsorship on the side of his car. And
yes,
he didn't pull off the pass, but he did kind of help Ty Killup in front behind him with the draft to pull Ty back up by on Treston Fortson.
Now, Brendan does have help in this race in the form of Hamilton and Jacob Oster. However, those two cars did stop and get some extra fuel.
Yeah, so those that stopped a little bit later, a Cabo Easy did at 115, and also that's it. Oster not smacking me in the face. Oster at 114.
Yeah,
maybe he took a really long pit stop there. Yeah, he did 114, but a minute 51. So he just kind of sat in the pits and waited a little bit.
Possible. Do want to point out that it's getting a little chippy back there, 8th, 9th, and 10th. That's Taylor, Edwards, and Fortson. Taylor made the move. Treston in the Rocket was not pleased with the move. Words were exchanged. We race on, and Logan Edwards has stepped in to be the man in the middle. So they are separated. The front remains.
A lot of smoke going through the corner. Not sure what happened, but Jesper now falling back. Did he have a moment in the corner there?
Yes, he's apologizing. I believe he had a moment. Car stepped out on him, and he got on the binders.
Let's speed this up a little bit. We went a little too far. Whoa! Wow! Wow! Jesper hangs on. Let's watch that again. Let's kind of watch it from a point of view of Craig Forsyth, and let's back it up just a second there. But it's just all of a sudden the car gets loose, and this could have turned into something really big, affecting and impacting all of the leaders all at once if he decided to come back up the racetrack. But watch him as he gets to that seam, gets a little loose. The back end comes around. but he caught it, but it's going to cost him a lot of track position as a result.
Not only is it gonna cost him a lot of track position there, Gary, but it is definitely going to heat up the tires, especially the right rear, and that is the critical corner here at Michigan. Is the right rear. That's the one that you drive off of. That's what makes the car turn. That's what gives that car that he's driving so much turning ability in relationship to its peers. And he's just smoked the one on his car. So needs to be careful. Let it cool off, does Jesper. He's not going to be able to do that because he's 3 wide with Matt Taylor and Ty Keela at the moment. Taylor will back out of that deal. He'll let Jesper go. Jesper dives right back to the bottom.
Yeah, Ty's gonna let him go as well. That's a teammate, so Ty's not going to really run him very hard there. Allow him a momentary to rest those tires. Now he's back in line.
Big move on Lichtenberg for Orman. Big move on Lichtenberg for Ty Keela. Move Jesper Orman under Forsyth. Move Jesper Orman under Hollybaugh. And I would suspect that I'm going to call him under Ryan Schold when we get down to turn 1. And there he goes.
And he's going to kind of give a little bit of a tow to his teammate in the green car right behind him, Ty. And here comes Ty. And now we got 3 Rogue Racing cars at the points.
I was going to say they got separated there just a little bit when Jesper had his moment. But now they're not separated, and now they're not separated. They're all right together. Ryan Schold is the first car that is not a Rogue Racing driver. The Little Eagle man goes back to 4th.
Jane Kocher going 3 wide down the front stretch. He gets a position over Semino. He's trying to follow along his sponsored car right in front of him of Clindy. Clindy now, let's see, what do we got for Clindy in terms of what he is on the stint? 24 laps into this stint. So Clindy needs a caution to happen here relatively soon, or he's going to have to come to pit road under green flag conditions and lose that lap again.
Yeah, not only would he lose the lap, but he's going to have to make an extra pit stop if he doesn't get a yellow. That's going to be the big thing right here. We're watching Antonio Estrada lead it. Jesper Orman is second. They're not really able to do that effective swap right now because Ryan Schold has taken to the bottom. Estrada is going to the top. Now Tequila, he's going to go to the middle, and that's what they need. But somehow the two cars in 4th and 5th, Schold in the Little Eagle entry, Matt Hollybaugh in the All-American iRacers car, they need to somehow figure a way to split up this trio because if they don't, it's going to be awfully difficult to get by those cars. Now remember, Gary, we've got at least one more pit cycle to go through as well. So,
Tristan Fortson. Tristan Fortson almost slid up in front of Hollybaugh. Hollybaugh had to roll out of it, and they are all bound up behind this group. Look at them. They're jockeying for position 2 by 2 by 2, about 4 rows deep.
Looks like the start of this race back there. Well, it would if they weren't 4 wide there around 10th. That's Lichtenberg, Wakefield, Craig. They went 4 wide there momentarily. Everybody got it straightened out. But they're 2 wide, 4 rows deep now.
And that really allowed the top 4 to kind of separate a little bit. Here is Forsyth on the high side of Fortson. Fortson, same thing. It kind of comes off the corner, slides up the racetrack. This time a little bit more room. Now he can pull this whole group along as they can maybe try to run down this top 4, which I think they will.
Yes, they will indeed. And lurking.
In the wall, I think it might have been Orman. That cost him a lot of momentum down the front stretch, and now he's going to fall into the clutches that second group.
He did hit it coming off of turn number 4, Gary. He did hit it. He did not hit it hard, but he did get into it, what we would call a white wall scenario with the outside wall. It does not show a meatball, so Jesper does not have terminal damage on the car.
Ty took Oster all the way up to the wall.
Now, when we talk about the community and we talk about guys that race together a lot, Antonio Estrada, Ty Keela, Jesper Orman, and Jacob Oster certainly fall into a category of drivers that race each other a lot.
I think Jesper got a little loose there, and I think we have a front wing missing for Forsyth, and he's forgiven.
He is forgiven, but as we saw with Clindy, that doesn't always mean that there's no damage.
Taylor on the apron with an issue.
Forsythe's going to keep his boot in it. He's going to stay 3 wide at the top, but he is going to sink to the back like a stone, and I think he's just going to try to wait this out. Clindy came in and got the front wing. Forsythe, I think, is going to try to wait it out and stay and just see, because he doesn't want to lose that lap. Back at the front, Jacob Oster has assumed the lead from Antonio Estrada. Ryan Schold is now third. Ty Keela fourth. Jesper Orman, despite having scuffed the right side tires.
Ryan Schold threads the needle. Wow.
Put Estrada back to the lead. Schold second. Jacob Oster third. If you want to bring the commentary crew a fresh bottle of Rolaids, that would be terrific. This is shaping up to be a classic, race fans. 55 coming to get 54 to go. Ryan Schold in the PRI Junior 500 entry. He leads it down to the bottom. Goes Estrada. Jacob Oster is going to follow through. Oster's going to lead this race by the end of the backstretch. Watch this, Gary.
Always like those old MLB commercials. How do you spell relief? ROLAIDS.
It definitely wasn't the Atlanta Braves bullpen. Meanwhile, we got a call hard down to the inside. I believe that's Chris Stouffer there.
Yeah.
Got loose off of turn 2. Stouffer all the way down that runoff area. He gets it back in line, but he's going to go straight to the back.
Yeah, that car's dancing a little bit.
It is. And Forsythe has now fallen back almost to 20th, and that's his teammate. I don't doubt that if need be, Stouffer would slow down so he and Craig can pit together and then work the slingshot to try to keep from going a lap down or to gain an advantage.
We're going to go 3 wide down the backstretch. T to the inside. Semino in the middle. Semino says, no, I'm just going to back out of that one.
He is indeed. Now, Clindy is the next up to be eligible for a pit stop. He has passed T, Forsythe, Semino, Taylor, et al., but he is 34 laps into his current stint. Kyle Clinworth is going to need to hit pit road here within the next 6 or 7 laps. The action at the front, though, still fast and furious. Oster to the bottom of Estrada. Ryan Schold follows along in third. He's on the high side. Jesper Orman in the middle. You've got Hamilton Akabuezi now in fifth, and he's working the bottom gear.
And they are all bound up right now behind Craig. I think Taylor's a little touchy right now, but he's keeping it straight. Averett down low. He will get the spot. He will bring Semino and Kocher on through.
The Dragon has started with 51 laps to go. Whoo-wee.
And Jesper back up into the battle. So we got 2 road cars. We have 1 I5G. We got 1 All-American iRacer. We got 1 from Little Eagle. We got 1 from Fiercely Forward up there. And quickly getting into the picture now is another I5G in Brendan Lichtenberg.
Yeah, they're all starting to come toward the front now. This is where the race really begins, Gary. 100 miles to go. We are 1 pit stop from the end, and you've seen the cream now rise to the top. More or less, Estrada and Orman have been there for most of the day. Schold has steadily worked his way forward. Oster has gone from the front to the back to the front to the back. Same for Akabuezi. Your pole sitter, Matt Hollybaugh, is still there in 6th. Brendan Lichtenberg is 7th. Ty Keela 8th, Rashad Craig 9th, Logan Edwards rounds out your top 10, and those are all drivers that I would have expected to be at the front of this thing when it came down to showtime at the end.
Jesper now with that little moment off of turns 3 and 4 a couple laps ago, now back to the lead, and with a wingman who goes down low, that is El Patron, but Orman is up 30 spots from where he started.
Yes, he is. I thought Jacob Oster might have clipped the wall a little bit going through 3 and 4. He never lifted, though, and he stays in 4th spot. Ryan Schold is going to duck inside. He'll move to 3rd. Now move Schold to 2nd as he tries to come around Estrada. Things are going to start becoming intense now. The closer we get to lap 196, the more intense it gets. Kyle Clinworth, let's keep an eye on him. Clindy is working lap 38. He is going to have to stop here very shortly. I'm sure that he's saving as much fuel as he can. The most that we've ever seen anybody do in an open setup here is 48 laps. Clindy is, I don't know how good on the fuel save he is. You can do 44, 45 comfortably, and that would get him to 41, 40 to go. He'd still have to save a little bit, but the man in the 11 has a tall order cut out for him. He's coming to get lap 40. The battle at the front, though, it has not disappointed, Gary.
I want to thank the guys at Topia Systems for being the presenting sponsor of today's race. Check them out. All the links you need are in this description. If you're looking for a new computer, a new racing rig, you want to check them out. It's where price and affordability, everything meets in terms of performance, price. They really care. They do awesome jobs. Every system is tuned for gaming greatness. It's built right, price right, game on. Topia Systems. Check them out. All in the description. They are the presenting sponsors of the race here today. And we got a heck of a one going on. Less than 50 to go now. 46 coming to 45. And you could throw a blanket over this top 6.
You most certainly could. Jesper Orman is now your leader. Jacob Oster second, Antonio Estrada third. He's not going to be third very long, though, because Ryan Schold just got a massive run on the top. Hamilton Akabwezi had a massive run on the bottom, had to back out of it. Antonio Estrada got a handful of wheel, had to lift out to save the car. Akabwezi took evasive action. That's going to split the front pack up just a little bit. Orman, he's going to draw another run on Jacob Oster one more time down the front straight, 45 laps to go.
Now those Rogue Racing guys are going to get a little bit of extra help here in a little bit when Rashad Craig reaches this group. That is an associated teammate, and Rashad Craig now up in the 7th spot. So he can now team up and work with Antonio and Jesper, our leader, for two of those Rogue Racing cars up front, along with an additional wingman.
Yeah, and look, Jacob Oster is not without a wingman either here. His wing.
He's not hurting.
Wingman is
no, he's not hurting.
He's not the only driver up here the only two that really don't have anybody in a supporting cast is Ryan Schold and Matt Hollibaugh. And Ryan Schold is in our waiting for interview room in the Discord, so he's not working with anybody. As he goes for the lead down into turn 3. How about Ryan Schold?
Apparently he's calling his shot and is going to be thinking he's going to get an interview here in a little bit.
Well, I told him that when we announced the $100 bonus, we would call him up under the next yellow light.
Oh, okay.
We haven't had a yellow light yet, Gary. At least since
Clindy on pit road, by the way, I think.
Yeah, so he's made it into range where he can make it. He's just going to have to save. He went 44 laps under that last run, so he's got enough gas to make it home. But unless he gets a caution, he's not going to have enough gas to fight. Jacob Oster goes back to the lead. Jesper Orman is second. Matt Hollibaugh now third. Schold fourth. Rashad Craig has moved into fifth. Very quietly so, Gary.
Very quietly and very patiently up 19 spots, Rashad Craig.
I have to thank everybody who is tuning this race in, everybody who came out to support it. We had a full field, 34 cars started it. We've had great numbers who have watched, great interaction in the chat. Thank you everybody so much for helping us celebrate the community. The final broadcasted open setup race in this scan of the car. This has turned out to be a pretty good Saturday, Gary.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for showing up, wanted to be a part of this. We are the little channel that could, just, a couple guys here, a group of guys that really enjoys IndyCar racing, and we want to get it out there as much as possible, provide as much content out there as much as possible. And we certainly appreciate everyone who wanted to participate, everybody who's watching, everybody who has watched, everybody who's subscribed, everybody who's donated. Thank you very much. It means an awful lot to help this little group of guys kind of put on this little channel that can. Not could, because we did, and we can, and we're doing it. And every day you guys help us out is one more day that we get closer to more subscriptions and more Google ad money that helps pays for new equipment, new graphics, and all this stuff that you see on the screen. None of this is free and requires a lot of work and time to produce. So we thank you again for everybody for being a big part of getting us here.
Yeah, I mean, it was July 10, 2025 or 2024 when this started. So almost 1 year to the day, and I can't think of a better way to cap off that year than just a little bit more than one stint to go in these cars at Michigan. It looks calm now. The weather in the session, when it started, it was 135 degrees on the track, Gary. The track was green. The track is now at 100% usage. The track temp has dropped to 112. It is getting later. The sun is beginning to set in Michigan.
Yep.
And when the sun starts to set, this place gets pretty wild.
Yeah, there's a big shadow behind the grandstand now creeping over the start-finish line.
Jesper's coming in.
A scheduled stop, green flag from our leader. A scheduled green flag stop from our leader. Needs to come off the spanking, very controlled, line the car up, hit the brakes, and get to the speed limit right there with his teammate Ty. Did Ty break it? No, I think Ty got there just at the nick of time as well. But a good entry for Ty. He is on pit road safely. Final stop for the Rogue Racing teammates with the hopes to get to the end of this 600 kilometers. Also on pit road, Charles T. Down and away, Jesper Orman. We'll see what Ty Quilla comes out with him.
Ryan Schuld has now called his pit entry, and this is going to start the parade of automobiles down the pit lane. You do not want to be the last car out here. You want to be the first car in, because you can use the draft of this pack and watch. Let's watch Jesper Orman as he comes up to speed. If he can get into line in the pack, that's going to be a huge advantage for him over the cars that stay out. Now, the disadvantage is that he's going to be a lap down. But yes, Jesper Orman's going to fall into the pack. Jesper Orman is in really good shape here. The longer that Halibut, Oster, Akabuezi, and those gentlemen stay out, the better it is for Jesper Orman, as long as it stays green. Give a shout out to Ryan Schuld, the hot pit stop. Oster is coming in. 34 laps to go. I would expect Lichtenberg and Oster to pit as a pair here.
Again, coming off the banking, not an easy thing to do. You got to slow these cars down. You got to point them straight because they don't like to brake when they're turning. As you see, Oster gets squirrely coming to pit road. Then you got to get it down to the pit road speed limit by the cones, beyond the button. Clindy purple lap that time by 2:23 flat. I think he reset his purple lap from earlier, so Clindy just resetting his purple lap, getting going faster here in the closing stages. Also on pit road is Antonio Estrada. He slides in.
That's going to promote Akabuezi to lead. Halibut second. Lichtenberg did not come in. He elected to stay out. Jesper Orman now has joined the back of the lead group, but he is one lap down. If caution comes out here, Jesper Orman and these groups that have already pitted, they're going to be trapped a lap down here. They would take wave around. Everybody's coming in. Wakefield
Orman
calls
purple.
His pit stop.
Orman purple that time by. So, and he's got the new tires, light tank, and has the draft of one of his associative teammates there with Craig.
He's going to try to get his lap back the hard way, Gary. Matt Halibut, he's going to come in. Halibut down the pit lane.
Here's Halibut, Wakefield coming to pit road. Right behind Wakefield is Matt Taylor. Matt Taylor definitely want to get those tires off. I'm sure he's had it with those.
Yes, he has. Move Brendan Lichtenberg, the Hyperstar. He's going to come in. He's going to get the lead. Hamilton Akabuezi is going to draft right past him. Jesper Orman is going to go past Lichtenberg. Hamilton to the pit lane. So now Orman is on the tail end of the lead lap. This worked out as well as it could have for Jesper Orman.
Rashad Craig on pit road. Andrew Marquez on pit road. Final stops. Final stops here. Part of the P1 600K. 30 to go. Final stops.
Lichtenberg is going to be the final one into the pit lane.
There's still Logan Edwards out there, needs to stop. Hamilton just stopped. Marquez just stopped. Treston Fortin just stopped. Yep. And here comes Logan.
In the Luke Mansky car, yeah. So Everybody has now stopped. That's going to cycle the lead back to Jesper Orman. He leads it. Jacob Oster is second. Hamilton Akabuezi, I believe, is going to slot out somewhere around in between. Well, he's going to get in between Klindy and Hollybach. So there you go. We have what I would say is a
Klindy's done about as
shootout.
Klindy's done as best as he could, all things considered. He is now up to 5th.
He is, but he's in the disadvantage of having to save fuel.
Yeah, now he's at that, and if he gets a caution, he's going to be sitting a lot prettier. But he's got a bit of a tougher challenge in front of him. But also in front of him, there is Jesper Orman, our leader, and he is now in the draft envelope of Vitor Gerhermi, who is right in front of him. Currently, Vitor is the last car on the lead lap.
And he does not have to give that up.
No.
He is, well, he's just called out he was going to stay high, but I was going to say Vitor Gerhermi does not have to give that up. And when they get to Mark Averett, who is not very far up the road, he doesn't have to give that up either. You're on the lead lap here. You can fight for it.
Vitor does a good job at staying high. I take that back. He's going into the wall. And Akabuezi had to take evasive action coming off a 4.
Gerhermi is slow. Ryan Schold, Brendan Lichtenberg both take evasive action.
Well, Brendan actually kind of set up Schold to be picked by Vitor a little bit. And Brendan was real nice to allow kind of Ryan to get back in line. Otherwise, he would have had Ryan pinned up behind Vitor, and Brendan could have got an easy pass. That was real nice of him to allow Ryan to get back in. Now they're racing Klindy for position. Klindy staying up high.
Remember, Clinworth does have issues with fuel. He does not have nearly as much in the tank as the cars around him. Or if he does, he doesn't have as much to spend. And Klindy almost in the back of Tyquila. Meanwhile, Lichtenberg all the way to the yellow line to get under Ryan Schold.
And once again, if you're just joining us, you're watching P1's coverage of the P1 600 presented to you by Topia Systems. And we're coming to you from the Michigan International Speedway, where Matt Hollabaugh, our pole sitter, currently holds the lead with 25 laps to go. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. Also, don't forget your commentary team by sending us a donation via our GoFundMe campaign. The link is pinned in chat. It is also in the description. You can also send us super chats, and you can do that down at the very bottom of chat. Just hit that little dollar bill icon, and you can send us super chats. We certainly would appreciate it. One more time, do want to shout out while we got the camera there, the guys at the PRI Hoosier 500 in December. P1 is the broadcasting home, primetime home of the Happy Hour at the Brickyard, your nightly destination for all the action leading up to the prestigious PRI Hoosier 500. The last kiss of the bricks for 2025 starts here. The countdown is on, so pucker up and don't miss a second of the action. Like, share, and subscribe to stay locked in, and we will see you at the Hoosier 500 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in December. And it's not that far away. You know, I never haven't talked about, while we're into this final stage of the race, little IndyCar history. Of course, IndyCar does not run here anymore at Michigan, and that in itself is a crime. But when they did run here, Paul Tracy set the track record that still stands to this day back in 2000 with a speed of 234.949 miles per hour. Your career wins leader here, whether they are 500-mile races or the 200-mile races they used to run here as well. Johnny Rutherford has 4, one of them a 500-miler, 1986. That was an interesting race. You should check that one out one day. Bobby Unser, Mario Andretti, A.J. Foyt, Rick Mears, and Bobby Rahal, each with 3. Danny Angaya, Scott Goodyear. Michael Andretti, Al Unser Sr., and Tony Kanaan each have 2. It should also be mentioned that the win by Al Sr. and the win by A.J. Foyt, they also had wins in the IROC series here, so I was counting those. But those are all your historical IndyCar wins leaders here at the Michigan International Speedway. Maybe one of these days we see IndyCar return here. If these sim cars are any indication of how they might race here when the real cars come here, we are in for a special treat. And looking for a treat up at the front, it is Rashad Craig to the low side of his teammate Jesper Orman. Send Rashad Craig to the point, and he is now your new leader.
40 miles to go. Rashad Craig, one of the most cerebral drivers. I called him that earlier in the service.
He is your cerebral assassin, just like Triple H.
Yeah, he did. He's a very smart guy. He hung around in the back all day. Wait a minute, there's a trophy. Here's Rashad Craig.
No, there's not a trophy. There's money.
Well, it's true. Money is kind of a trophy, right?
Cash money.
I like the trophies that we get from the Joy of Driving. Mark the Watchman and the watches. I like those. More of a tangible trophy guy than a money trophy guy. But these guys, I don't think you'd have to put up a red cent. These guys are absolutely letting the rough side drag, Gary.
Oh, Stouffer loose off the corner. Caught it twice.
Conditions continue to get more favorable. 110 degrees on the track. So conditions are now just about ideal to turn this thing into an absolute dogfight. Orman, your leader, then Oster. Hollybaugh, the pole sitter. How about Matt Hollybaugh? He has not been outside that top 10, really the top 5 the entire day, has he, Gary?
We can actually show you his day today. There you see. Currently third, started first, high as first, low as 10th, so he has never left the top 10.
He is not, and he is all over Jesper Orman for the lead of this race. Jacob Oster went all the way down to the bottom in search of clean air. Rashad Craig is on the high side. Oster's going to slot back in front of him. Hollybaugh even with Orman for the lead.
Just look at this entire top 10. Orman, Hollybaugh, Oster, Craig, Akabowiezi, Brendan Lichtenberg, Schold, Taylor, Ty Quilla, Christopher. We got a former Velocity Online, two-time former Velocity Online Racing Series champion. We have a multi-time winner in official races with Oster. Hollybaugh, former winner in the Elite Racing League IndyCar Series. Rashad Craig, multiple wins in official races. Akabowiezi, fixed Indy 500 champion. ERL, reigning Indy 500 champion. We have Logan Edwards, winner in the AMA series and stock cars. Here comes Matt Taylor to the bottom side. He won in the fixed oval series. Ryan Schold, he's going to be promoting his own race coming up very, very shortly. And then we got Christopher in 10th. He has wins in the Lionheart level and at the Area 51 level and an ISRA. Look at the number of IndyCar starts we have up and down this top 10. We talked about wanting the best in the community, and we have some of the best in the community from first to 10th here right now, stem to stern, in this group that you see on your camera right now.
It's a who's who. Jacob Oster, Brendan Lichtenberg, they were both in the Butt Kicker Pro Series. They both made it all the way through. And those are community guys. Those aren't guys that, do this for a living like some of the Redline people, some of the Apex people that come out of Europe. Those are guys that do this for fun just like us, and they were able to take it to the pros. And so, it's always an honor to have that level of competition in these races. Matt Hollybaugh, though, he has brought himself a piece, Gary. He sat on the pole. He has led a ton of laps. He's leading Jesper Orman. They seem to be content to swap, and at this point, it's play nice until it's not time to play nice anymore.
We're getting close to that point when the gloves come off, and it's going to be inside of 10 to go. We got a little bit of extra time until then. 3 wide, going in the one. Taylor down low, Schold in the middle. Averett up top. They sort that thing out very nicely. And here is Orman now leading them to the line with 12 to go. Right behind him is Hollabaugh, Oster, Akabaweezy, Craig, Brendan, Logan Edwards, your top 7. That is kind of the lead group at the moment. And if that next group can't get organized behind him, now Stouffer might run him down. And he might bring Taylor with him. Ryan Scholl desperately needs to stay. We're going to go 3 wide into the corner as Clinty goes down low. Under Marquez, Averett stays high. Tony Estrada was up in the lead for a lot of the second half of this race. He is now grasping to the bottom portion of these leaders. I wonder if maybe he just wore off the tires and then had a bad pit stop there, but he is trying to stay back on. Same thing with Clinty. He's trying to stay within grasp here with older tires and a fuel save.
Could have been, and I kind of get the feeling right now as I watch Jesper lead this from Matt Hollabaugh. You got Rashad Craig on the bottom, Jacob Oster uncharacteristically right down around the yellow line. I get the feeling that those last 5 laps were the calm before the storm, because here comes Oster. He flies underneath Matt Hollabaugh, puts it in the middle. He'll get to the right rear of Jesper Orman, and here we go.
Almost. Jesper gives him no room off the corner. He gave him no room to go down low. And then Jesper, I think Oster kind of retaliates a little bit and gives him a little bit of a Pruitt fade going into 1.
He did indeed. That's going to bind up Jesper Orman's momentum. Matt Hollabaugh, he's going to come through in the second. Hollabaugh is looking to the high side for the lead, and you got Rashad Craig up there. We're getting pretty close to 4 wide territory. Meanwhile, Hamilton Akabuezi is back in 5th. He's going to bid for 4th, and here comes Brendan Hyperstar. He's going to look for 5th as well on Jesper as they go down the back.
Comes Matt to the bottom now. He will pick up the lead momentarily. Oster back to 2nd. Rashad Craig cruises on by on the high side. Akabuezi goes by the high side on Orman. Orman now back to 6th as he's used a little bit of momentum. Brendan Lichtenberg now up to 5th. Here comes, and I mentioned early, here comes Stouffer.
Yeah, Chris Stouffer is a rapid guy in these races. I've raced against him a ton, and it's always good to see Chris here. He is not one to back down when it gets time to go for the checkers. He
hit me up on a DM. I mentioned an ad read I was reading for one of our races about the 600, and he's like, "Tell me more about this 600." I think I piqued his interest a little bit. So here he is, and he's fighting for the win here now with 7 to go here at Michigan.
Absolutely. They'll slam down into turns 1 and 2 one more time. Jacob Oster has the lead. Hamilton Akabuezi is 2nd. Hollabaugh, Rashad Craig, they form row 2, 4 wide. I wish we had the deal where we could split screen with Brendan Lichtenberg's point of view stream on Twitch. I wonder what that would have looked like.
Yeah, it's going to look something like this right here. With 4 cars 4 wide in front of them. Where do I go? Pick a lane. There's not a lane to choose from.
That's where you say, if you hit each other, please clean yourselves out somewhere where I'm not, right? Because the whole track is effectively blocked. And we're going to do this all the way to the end now. 6 laps to go. It's Oster leading, Akabuezi 2nd, Craig 3rd. You've got Hollabaugh 4th. Continuously 4th, because here comes Brendan. He's got the draft from Craig. 5 to go.
10 miles to decide it. Hearing Brendan grab another gear, drop a gear to keep those revs up high. Lap traffic in front of these guys. I don't know if they'll get to them in time. 3 wide going into 3.
Hollabaugh tried to drop it down to the bottom, ran out of real estate, and did not go below the line. They've been instructed they cannot go below the white line to improve their position until they exit turn 4 on the final lap. Here they are again, though, 3 wide for the lead. Oster to the bottom, Akabuezi to the middle, Rashad Craig to the top, and here comes Brendan Hyperstar. He's going to go by Rashad Craig, make a bid for 3rd.
Hollabaugh, shoot, he's been doing that big dive, that late dive, or that dive midway down the backstretch, getting a big run, trying to cut underneath everybody, and then a big wash up for Hollenball. It's going to cost him some momentum. Here we come, the 3 to go. Oster, Cabo Weezy, and now here comes Rashad Craig. Does Matt make that same move using the banking?
Yeah, you kind of get a good run. You can roll it down the hill over there and pick up some speed. Hollybaugh doesn't have anywhere to take that speed, though. He's going to get it to the top side now. Oster to the bottom, Akabuezi in the middle, Matt Hollybaugh to the top, Rashad Craig is 4th, Lichtenberg 5th, and Logan Edwards has brought the loop, or no, that's Chris Stouffer. Is it Stouffer?
Edwards and Stouffer.
It's Edwards and Stouffer. Logan Edwards has brought the Luke Mansky machine to 5th. Or 6th, excuse me. Stouffer is 7th, and Stouffer is way up. He looks like Harry Gann up there. Way up to the top side for Chris Stouffer. He'll go around Edwards. 3 wide again for the lead. Oster on the bottom, Akabuezi to the middle, and it's Hollybaugh to the top. Here comes Matt Taylor like he's shot out of a cannon. They're going to come here. They're going to get the white flag, Gary. The next flag is going to end the race.
3 wide, and we're starting to bang wheels going into 1. Oster and Akabuezi not giving each other any room. On the high side, our pole sitter Hollenball looking for another bonus to get the win and the pole sitter. Here we come down the backstretch, final time. We're going to go 4 wide. Akabuezi get a little chilly, chippy in the middle there. High side, here comes Craig. We're coming to the checkered flag this time by Oster, Akabuezi, Hollenball. Who is going to win it at the line? They are wrecking behind it. We can go to the apron, and it is going to be Oster.
Hard impact from Matt Hollybaugh after the checkered flag. He is gonna absolutely demolish Ryan Schuld. Holy Moses. Jacob Oster, Matt, oh my goodness gracious. Oster and Akabuezi, it was almost exactly the same margin. It was almost the same margin as it was for halfway, the other way around.
There is a replay of the finish. Wow.
Cue that replay up. If you don't like that, race fans, holy mackerel. Whew.
We'll get in today's final standings here momentarily.
I'll let you read those, Gary. I'm out of breath.
And I just want to get some replays queued up here, too, as real quick, and we'll get into the interview room and talk to some of these drivers. All right, and we will get the get it on our winner real quick. There he is. And here we go for today's final standings.
How about that? The winner, Jacob Oster, starts 3rd. He finishes 1st. Hamilton Akabuezi, he's going to start 2nd and bring it home in P2. Matt Hollybaugh, the pole sitter, he'll bring it home 3rd. The front 3 finish that way, just in reverse order. Rashad Craig, he makes up 20 spots. Hold that thought. He is going to run 4th. Brendan Lichtenberg starts 8th, finishes 5th. Ryan Schuld, a fine 6th. Logan Edwards, the AMA winner, he is going to be 7th. Taikila 8th. Andrew Marquez, a quiet 9th. And Antonio Estrada, after being up front most of the day, he is going to come home 10th. Jesper Orman made up 20 spots as well. He is going to be credited with 12th place after Kyle Clinmorris 11th. Jared Wakefield 13th. Tristan Fortson 14th. Shane Kocher. Give a shout out and a call down to Shane Kocher. We did not call the Votive chairman's name all day long, Gary. He brings home a top 10, 15 finish in a Very tough field. Congratulations to Shane. Olivier Simonu is 16th, Charles Teed 17th, Lilac Zier 18th, Craig Forsyth is 19th, and Scott Ross will round out is going to round out the top 20. He is the final car on the lead lap. Credited one lap down in 21st, Christopher, Matt Taylor 22nd, Mark Averett 23rd, Vitor Guillermi 24th, Alexander Miller 25th, Alan Berteau 26th. Alexander Miller's 25th. Berteau 26th. Blaze Andrich 27th after trouble. Edson Santos 28th. Daniel the Cat Durazo 29th. Matt Wagner is going to be 30th. Eric Peterson is 31st. Seb Alexander is 32nd. Matthias Strauss 33rd. Rusty Plant is going to round out the field. And I believe that Rashad Craig...
He actually ties Jesper. They both improved 20 spots, but he's your highest finisher between the two.
So that would make Rashad Craig
the hard charger?
The hard charger, yes it does. So the Topia Hard Charger Award, that's going to go to Rashad Craig. How about that? So the incentive prizes, Matt Hollyball wins the $25 Blackmagic Studios Pole Award. Jacob Oster is awarded for the Hamilton Akabuezi is awarded $25 for winning the ISRA Halfway Challenge. And Rashad Craig is going to be the Topia Hard Charger. I cannot wait to talk to some of these drivers before too much longer. Let's see, who do we have available in here?
We got Hollenball. Bring him on in.
Well, we don't. We've got...
okay, then if we got Hamilton's there and Jacob's there, I don't know, do we have Hamilton or a... nope, it's not another. Go ahead and bring up, and then when Matt gets here, we will bring up Matt.
Let's talk to Rashad, the hard charger. Rashad Craig, you've got Mark and Gary in the P1 broadcasting booth. You're finished fourth, but you're in the interview room for a different reason. You made up 20 spots, my man, and that makes you the hard charger. $25 from Topia. Talk to us about your run, my man.
It was extremely stressful, man. A lot of it was a lot of patience and looking for clean air, which there wasn't a lot of it. Some luck. And at the beginning, just having fun, just going to the back on purpose, just to have a little bit of fun, feel out the field and whatever and all that. But as soon as it was go time, man, it was really tough. For those last 4 laps, I was holding my breath for the whole thing.
Go ahead, Mark. You could continue on the interview if you like.
No, I'm trying to catch my breath just like Rashad. I'm out of breath calling it. I'm glad I don't race the cars anymore because you guys put on one intense show. Was there ever a time you felt like it got too wild, or did the conditions kind of keep it from getting crazy?
When it was hotter, it was pretty chill. More about tire conservation, but as those temps came down, it was more of just as hard and as soon as everybody's fuel lined up, it was just go as hard as you can. And about probably those last 10, 20 laps, was the real white knucklers. So a couple times I made some moves that was I wasn't trying to pinch somebody that tight, or I was looking for clean air and didn't get it. And cars were just everywhere. So it was a lot of fun.
Before Mark wraps up his interview with you, I just want to say thanks for being here. Thanks for taking time out of your Saturday to kind of be in our one-off little promoted event. You guys showing up always make these races more special, so we appreciate you taking the time to be here out of your busy Saturdays. And, enjoy your little extra bonus of money. Spend it wisely. Maybe, go out and buy ice cream for people. I don't know. But, you earned it. Have a great time, man. And thanks really for being here. It means a lot to see you guys show up.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Thank you so much, Rashad. Keep going fast and having fun, brother. Got any friends, family, sponsors you'd like shout out to before we put you back in the waiting room?
Just our friends, family, and the team kind of threw something together at the last second, just to try to have a good car for the race, and just made it a fun time. Unfortunately, not everybody finished, but it was still a good time being out here. And thanks for you guys for broadcasting and putting on this race. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Rashad, thank you so much for coming. It's always enjoyable to watch you run, man. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yes, sir. That is Rashad Craig. He is going to be credited with 4th place and the Hard Charger Award today. In third, we've got Matt Hollybaum. Matt, you've got Mark and Gary in the P1 broadcasting booth. You sit on the pole. You run third. You were in the winner's picture. What do you think it would have taken to get around Jacob and Hamilton?
Probably more grass.
Rockets, maybe.
No, like I wasn't really in position there. Like with the rules about like going onto the apron on the final lap. I knew they were thinking about it too. So like I don't know. I feel like if I would have done if I could have made it stick on the bottom when I took it 4 wide there, if I could have just repeated that later on, but no, I scrubbed a bit too much down there, lost the track position, and just it was close. Like I was, again, I'm very happy to be in that photo, but like I'm not upset that I got beat by people like that. That was a hell of a race. That was so much fun.
Fun, Mark.
I tell you what, talk to us about the open qualifying. You mastered it. You led 27 of 187 laps. You were one of few that were never outside the top 10. Kind of talk to us about qualifying. For this race and it being a group session. Were you anticipating that?
Nope.
Or were not? And then how did you approach it? Did you put the qualifying set on or did you go back out on the race set?
I loaded up the race set with like 3 gallons of fuel and just kind of friggin' ripped it.
So it was kind of funny. I heard the guys when the session started.
That was me.
Well, I heard other guys too. It wasn't just you, Oster, and there were some others that were bemoaning that it was a group qualifying session and wondering if it was a mistake. It was not a mistake.
It was not a mistake. Okay, I was not aware of that. I just kind of like, okay. I'm not hating it, to be clear. It won me $25, so I'm like, let's go with that.
Yeah, not a mistake. It was. We wanted to do something different, and I wanted qualifying to be predictive of the race, and so it most certainly was. The top 3 in qualifying were the reverse of the top 3 in the race. You started on the pole, finished third. Hamilton started second, finished second, and Oster started third, won a race. So,
yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like, it's not something I'm used to, and it's but like when you can actually like just get a fast lap in a group session together, it's extremely satisfying. And like, well, I wouldn't want to see it in like every race I ever do. Like, it was fun. I enjoyed that.
Fun little curveball.
Because I'm biased.
Gary, do you have anything for the pole sitter and the bottom step of the podium?
No, I really don't. I just, again, like I said to Rashad, thanks for taking time to be here, part of our little promoted race for the community and everything. It's always good to have you in the lineup. Always good to see you and your teammates show up. Shout out to all the All-American iRacers. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We know everyone's time is valuable, and being here for 370 miles, 600-kilometer race on the middle of a Saturday afternoon, just taking time out of your day away from your family. So thanks for spending it with us, being a part of the special event. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone want to say hi to before we let you go?
As always, hi, Doug. Hi to everyone at OMF. Credit to Gary Yost III for just being on the box for me. I think Mike may have been sleeping, but I had Gary there, so it was fine. Hi, Mike. I'm calling you out. My parents. It was a fun one, and you guys for just having me. And I had fun.
Well, thanks for being a big part of it. Congratulations on the pole, and congratulations So you got a little extra money for finishing third. So the pole's kind of a bonus now on top of all this. So you've stole plenty of Mark's money this weekend. So congratulations for doing that. And we'll catch you at the next one, whenever that is.
Let's make up for Indy, but I'm happy. Good, guys.
Shots fired. All right. Well, thanks, Matt.
I'll take it. I deserve it. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
That little bit of inside baseball. If you don't know what happened, you just don't know what happened.
The inside baseball, and I'll tell the fans what the inside baseball was. So the final open top split Indy 500, Hollybaugh and I had the two best cars, and we were involved in the dragon zigzagging with me in the lead, coming to get the white flag. And I zigged and he zagged, and I zinged a little bit too hard. Contact was made. And yeah, I mean, it's coming. It's less than 6 corners. It's 6 corners to go in Indianapolis. And so I understand Matt being disappointed, but at the same time, you know, we forgive, we forget, we move on, and we're good friends. So
he doesn't forget. He might forgive.
He does forgive, though.
He will not forget.
It was for a win in a top split Indy 500. He's never going to let me forget.
Oh, get Hamilton up here.
Hamilton Akaboy, so you've got Mark and Gary in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Ew.
I'll tell you what. I think Jacob posted it. Between the halfway money and the win, it was 0.005 of a second cumulatively between the two of you.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty good. Both good fishes. Glad we got up front for both of them for sure. And Brendan as well, again, a top 5, so that was good.
Yeah, that was a pretty wild effort for you guys. Did the open qualifying or the group qualifying throw you guys off, or did it not?
We thought it was really funny. I mean, yeah, we were not expecting it. I thought it was very, very funny.
I did that on purpose, and I told this to Hollybaugh. I wanted the qualifying session to be reflective of the race because, as you know, you can come up with a qualifying special for Michigan and have a pretty junky car, right? But if you have a good race set, you're going to be fast all day. And I wanted the qualifying session to be predictive of who had the best race car. And certainly Hollybaugh won the pole, finished third. You started second, finished second. Jacob started third and won a race. So it turned out that was the case. What were the conditions like out there? Was it just hot and greasy? Did you have any problems with those?
Oh, no. I mean, because of the time the race started, I mean, it cooled off very quickly. So, but still, you could still tell that tires mattered a lot. I mean, everyone who was running the top just burned them off because, yeah, when it came time to go, they just had nothing for us. But, yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad. The practice was a little sketch trying to figure out what to do with the set for that type of times, but it didn't end up mattering once it cooled down, and definitely packed up a lot for sure.
For certain, sure. Gary, do you have anything for Hamilton?
No. Once again, I just want to thank you guys for showing up. On the middle of a Saturday, no reason to be here, just win Murph's money, which you did. I appreciate your time and being here, and thank you and all your teammates and all your friends for showing up and putting on a good show. Really appreciate it, and congratulations on the P2, and give you a chance to shout out any friends, family, sponsors you have. I know you do. They're a big part of your life. Go right ahead, man. And I just want to thank you for being here.
Yeah, I mean, shout out the 54 guys, everyone over there. That's always fun. Wish I could have got some of them to run, but they were not interested. But yeah, and then yeah, shout out you guys for putting on the race. I wasn't sure I'd make it. I got home from a flight from Chicago like 2 hours before the race, so that was if anything happened with the flight, that would have been annoying. But yeah, so glad I was able to get back home and make the race. So yeah.
Well, congratulations. You led 20 laps, finished second. You got a fair share of Murph's money. Congratulations. Spend it wisely. And we will catch you at the next one. But your record in big races here on P1, not too bad. A big one in Indy 500 and P2 here in the 600 a little bit later next month, or the next month over. So congrats, man. And we'll catch you at the next one, whenever that might be.
For sure. Thank you.
All right.
That is
That is Hamilton, yeah.
That's Hamilton Akabuezi, and that leaves us with the winner, Jacob Oster. Jacob, you said it, my man. You lost the halfway money by what, 25 10,000ths of a second. You win the race by about that much. It's a game of centimeters out there for you.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in that one. I really needed a caution after that too, but I wanted to maximize the return on investment with your money. But it turned out all right in the end. That was a great practice run for the end of the race, and I learned some things I needed to do better. And thankfully, the track temp dropped, and it just became a whole lot easier to wrap that bottom and keep everybody behind me.
Go ahead, Murph.
Yeah.
Follow up.
I was going to ask too. You went to the back. You went to the front. You did so. You and Hamilton did so without a lot of help. You had Brendan around, but you guys seem to be working independently together, is the way that I'll call it. What was it like out there, especially racing around some of the other teams that had a lot of cars, whereas you guys were maybe 2 or 3 deep?
I mean, it's really not like, say, somewhere like Indy where 2 cars can really shove away the third car who's not like a teammate. But Hamilton and I, we were all on the same Discord channel, just kind of chatting, just kind of going through, making sure that we gave each other space. And really, with the way Michigan is, it's got about 5-6 lanes that you could use at any one time, and not a lot of people can use the bottom. So we just executed a lot of our passes on the bottom lane and just helped us roll up through the field and get to the front.
Well, Jacob, I just again want to thank you again for being here, taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of this little race on a Saturday afternoon. Thank you very much. It means a lot to see you here and your team here. So we want to thank you all, your teammates and your friends and everybody for being part of the race and watching as well. Give you a chance. You know how it goes. You get on the podium. Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Go right ahead. You got the microphone, sir. Congratulations on the win.
Oh, thank you guys for putting this on. It's a good event. I mean, this is a pretty substantial purse for a random race. Well, not really random, but on a Saturday afternoon. So it's good. I'm glad that when Brendan mentioned it again, that I remember this race was going on. So I'm really glad I ran because it was actually a lot of fun on the track. But yeah, thanks to Hamilton and Brendan for running with me all day, and for Rob for being on the box and giving some little pointers at the end, just telling us where everybody is, telling us to runs, and letting us know how we can handle the end of this race. But it's just always a good time when you run IndyCar and have a lot of fun. And we'll see what next week transpires. See if this car is any good anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say all of our hard work is about to go in the
get ruined.
Isn't it?
I'm sure something will be broken and we'll have to fix it. But you know what? That's a future Jacob problem, and I look forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming and enjoying the event. And I can promise you we'll do it again next year if I'm around. All right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. It is Jacob Oster. He is the winner of the inaugural P1 600 from Michigan International. Gary, I'm going to give you the mic first. To kind of give your thoughts on what turned out to be a really awesome race.
And again, the idea was all yours. I think we both were kind of playing with ideas to kind of have our own promoted race, but neither one of us really talked to each other or approached each other about it. And you said, "Hey, I want to do a race," and hey, I was thinking about a race. And I wanted to make our race different. I didn't want to just be another 500-mile race at Indianapolis or another 500-mile race anywhere. And everyone, 500 miles gets lost in the grand scheme of things. I wanted something to be, you could remember it by. And you did that kind of with a little bit different rules with the open qualifying. And then we wanted to, a 600. Stock cars could do 600-mile races. And I really think these Indy cars these days with the reliability and the engines, I could think they could easily do a 600-mile race if they wanted to do one for real. Why not? Why can't we do a 600-mile race? But that might be something for the future if people want to do something like that. But we thought a 600-kilometer race would be enough of a catchy sounding name to get some interest in it. And, we got some interest. And I'm glad. I'm again thankful everybody that watched at home today. Thanks for everybody that liked, shared, subscribed this thing. I like everybody. Again, thank everybody for showing up. I mean, 30+ people decided they wanted to take time out of their busy Saturdays here on the summer side of Memorial Day to be a part of this thing, and that means an awful lot. Where you could easily be with a friend out there watching a baseball game, or being out there with the family or something, doing yard work, doing anything but doing iRacing, and that we have 20 people still watching now, plus 34 people. So 50 plus people decided that they wanted to make this part of their Saturday afternoon. That means a lot for your time. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciated that. This kind of started as an idea. Didn't know where it would go. Didn't know how long we'll be here. We do this for the community. We love the community. We love IndyCar racing. We just want to put as much IndyCar content out there to get more fans for the sport, more fans into iRacing, more fans driving this car. I hope we accomplished some of that today. But again, I want to thank all of the sponsors. I want to thank all of the participants. Without you, this is not happening. So the guys at the ISRA, Topia, Black Magic, the guys at 4D, everybody that's been the part of this, that's helped with artwork. Shane Kocher did the thumbnail. I want to thank him for his help on this thing. Everybody that played a role in making this happen. And Mark, most of all, your idea, buddy. Thank you very much. And we got a year from now. Maybe we make it number 2, and we'll do 600 miles or 600 kilometers. We'll see what everyone wants to do, but we're having a 600 one way or another, probably 1 year from now. So your idea, man, credit is all yours. Thank you very much, and take it away with your final thoughts. I thought today's race was great, and if you look at the names of the lineup, that should not surprise you. Everybody here is a real pro one way or another. They have wins in one other series or another. They know what they're doing. This was, I don't even know what the strength of field for this race was, but I bet it was a pretty high one for just a one-off league type race. So it's, again, your idea. It's all credit to you. And take it away, man. I'll give you the final thoughts on the evening, if you're there.
I am here.
There he is.
You're asking for my thoughts. So this was everything it was supposed to be, and the community delivered. And it's so awesome to see pro series level drivers like Jacob Oster and Brendan Lichtenberg show up and be a part of it. Hamilton Akabuezi is known as one of the best oval drivers in the car in the service. He was here. The entire Rogue Racing, the entire Indy Alliance operations showed up. We had league drivers who have won at the very highest levels. Craig Forsyth, Chris Stouffer was in here. We had series directors, Charles Teed, Eric Peterson, Ryan Schuld, that were here, and all of them proved, one, that they are very, very rapid drivers, but we didn't have any. Probably the best thing about today was I turned on my admin box at the start of the race, and I didn't have to touch it. And that should tell you everything you need to know when you've got a pretty serious amount of money on the line, at least for a sim race, and nobody did anything that warranted any penalties or any sort of administrative action. And that's probably what I'm most proud of, Gary. Beyond that, we had an amazing crowd of people that watched it. It's going to be fun to watch the views climb. I want to wish everybody who's out there doing the 24 hours of the Nürburgring, the official broadcasted slot. I know some of these guys in this race, they may be headed to run a sedan at the Nürburgring yet tonight. So I want to thank everybody for their participation and wish everybody going to the ring good luck. And beyond that, Gary, just the absolute same. We're able to do this because of the people that do the hard work at night, so we can sleep safe. The people in the military, the policemen, the firefighters, all of the nurses in the emergency rooms and the EMTs in the ambulance, all of those people, do those things and they don't get recognized, but they do it so that we can do this. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank them. Beyond that, man, I need to rest my voice.
Well, let's get on out of here and give everyone back their Saturdays. I have Money in the Bank coming up here in a little bit for WWE, so that's I'm looking forward to that. So that's it for today. Once again, you're putting from the P1600 from Michigan International Speedway. And there's your winner right there, Jacob Oster, the Worm Man, getting the win and the bulk of Murph's money. Hamilton Akabuezi the winner of our fixed Indy 500 broadcast. He comes home second, and Matt Hollenbaugh. And he's picked up a couple of near wins, a big win here on a broadcasted race not too long ago. And another big podium here for Matt after winning the pole. So he is actually going to win a little bit of extra Murph's money as well. That is your top three. Join P1 again tomorrow night for the start of Season 3 of the Votive Indy Oval Series and their signature race, the Votive Derby from Kentucky Speedway. Coverage begins around 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's 8:00 p.m. Eastern. Remember, as always, for correct broadcast time in your area, you can find everything right here on YouTube at youtube.com/@P1Broadcasting. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but not easy. Require time and money to produce. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the P1 600 presented by Topia Systems, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our 2025 broadcast fund. We realize times are tough, so any contribution would be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and make us part of your YouTube viewing each and every single week. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know your thought of today's race. If you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more of P1's Dallara iRacing programming, including Round 8 of the Sim Gaming Expo ISRA Open Wheel Series from Homestead Miami Speedway. It's this Monday at 9:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't miss it. Promotional consideration paid for by the following: Topia Systems. They are a proud presenting sponsor of our Tuesday night top split coverage here and our P1 600 today here on P1. Topia is where quality and affordability go full throttle. From custom rigs to powerful pre-builds, Topia Systems delivers top-tier performance without all that sticker shock. Built with premium parts and backed by a team that really cares. Every system is tuned for gaming greatness. Topia Systems, built right, priced right, game on. To learn more, check out the links. They're all in the description. Track cams for this race are provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with the Whiplash Sim Cams. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook or follow them on X and Instagram. All the links you need are in the description. For business inquiries to learn more about P1 and what we do, like us on Facebook. You can follow us on X and Instagram. You can follow all of our social links on Linktree. Check them out. They're in the description. So for Mark Murphy, everyone here at P1, all of our sponsors, everybody at home who watched, I'm Gary Gatto saying all good night and thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and its first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Join us again here tomorrow night in Kentucky for the third running of the Votive Indy Derby right here on P1. Until then, take care. And until we meet again, everybody have a happy Saturday. Good night.